the big send-off to Switch 1, it is time to just really reflect back on what an amazing generation this has been. We're going to be talking about our favorite memories as well as our ranking of the top 10 Switch games.
Yeah, we've been so excited and caught up with the Switch 2 really for all of 2025, and we should because it's coming and it's going to be exciting and great, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that we just had so many, 7 years, 8 years?
8 years.
Incredible years with the original Nintendo Switch. So I want to take a moment to look back and celebrate all of that before we completely turn the page.
That's right. It changed our lives, and now we're ready to move on to a new era, but it does mean this one chapter is kind of closing, which is a little bittersweet.
Yeah.
We are just back from PAX East, where we had a great time. You sent me a message like the day that we got back that was basically like, PAX East is returning back to March next year, and we were both like, yeah, we're not going back.
That was tough news because we had a great time at this one. And again, we always say this, we're soft Californians, so when the weather goes below like 50 degrees, it's a reason to freak out.
Yes.
But it was so nice. Those first couple of days in Boston were so nice. Like
we walked around a whole bunch.
We literally walked from South Boston, where the convention center is, like over a bridge, through the harbor, up towards...
There were so many people out and about, too, that we noticed.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is like full-on spring Boston. This is really nice.
So
this is really, really different. I feel less threatened about being sucker punched because people seem to be in a better mood. Like, okay, yeah.
I can, like day drinking.
I can get in on this. And then it did eventually get a little nasty and cold while we were there. But we came back and it's like, oh, it's going to be in March again.
Why did it do that?
They must have some juggling of availability with the convention center.
But why not just keep it in May?
Maybe they like it.
Who likes what?
Bostonians.
They like the cold.
They like the cold. Maybe that's their signature move. Hey, it's cold here.
Really?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
'Cause it sucks.
But it was so great. We had a really nice time.
We did.
It's always hard to know, like, well, how packed should we make the schedule? Because at a show like this, you want to be able to walk around and see people.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to run into.
And not feel rushed. So I think we went feeling like, our schedule feels a little light, but that's possibly going to end up being a good thing, and I think it was.
Yeah, we were actually a little concerned going, like, as we got closer to PAX East, because we were like, the reason why we wanted to go in the first place is because we were like, oh, Nintendo's probably going to be here.
The whole reason we were going was a hunch.
Yeah, we had a hunch like early this year, like this is pretty close to when Switch 2 is likely coming out. So they must have some plans to, get out to Boston and do something around Switch 2. But obviously that never happened. They ended up doing their own events, which is fine, much earlier in the year. But yeah, so when we kind of were making our plans for PAX East, we were like, well, that's a pretty glaring hole in the schedule if Nintendo's not going to be there. But it ended up being great. We ended up seeing tons of games. We saw a bunch of people that, reconnected with a bunch of people. That was really nice. We were just able to discover some new cool games because we had a chance to walk around a bit. And so it turned out completely fine. And we came out of it feeling like really happy and like that it was a worthwhile experience for us to be there. So
absolutely,
it was great, and our panel was so amazing, and it was so good to see all of you in person. The best part really was like after the panel, because then I felt good about being done with the panel.
Oh my gosh, we have to go.
And then my point is stop.
Well, Okay, we need to talk through it.
No, you need to shut up. My point is that after the panel, all these people stayed around to hang out with us and chat with us, and it was great. And I really like that part the best.
Before then, though. So I still am trying to understand. So we were there, it was like the day before, hours before, and you're like, I feel great. Like, I'm not worried, I'm not concerned.
I was fine.
And then as you should do, we went to go see the room just to scope it out.
Yes.
And it was pretty big.
And it was big, and the person that was helping us, who was probably one of the best enforcers we've ever had at a PAX panel, he was amazing. the person that was helping us was like, have you guys ever done a panel at PAX East before? And we're like, not a proper one like this. We've done like some smaller stuff with Nintendo.
Right.
But, we've done these panels at PAX West. And he was like, oh, well, we do it a lot bigger here in Boston. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And then I was like very concerned afterwards.
But I think we've done it in rooms of that size before. So again,
have we?
Again, I always want, like, is it the concern that nobody's going to come, that too many people are going to come, that
Both.
you're going to have like a brain fart?
Both.
I don't understand.
If it were up to me to make me completely comfortable, I would like to do a panel with an audience of 50 people in a room.
Or perhaps a pre-recorded podcast.
No.
In an isolated room.
It's fine
with one other person.
No, that's fun too, but obviously that's very easy for us to do. But I do like seeing people in real life. I like having the audience. It's fun. But when it's too many people or not enough, then it's like scary. Really scary.
Okay. So I want to be supportive, but I don't. No,
you don't.
I don't know how. I don't know what the root issue is.
You don't care.
So it's like I don't even know how to be of assistance here.
What are you going to do about it now? Nothing. You said we should be on the main stage.
Well, we're past. I would love to be on the main stage,
but
it seems unlikely that we're going. So
I won't be doing that. By the way,
we'll have to wait for.
If you want to be on the
main 2028 or something.
If you want to be on the main stage, you're on your
until the moons align in the calendar for them to be back at a time when the temperature's reasonable. Okay.
Yeah.
Consult your calendars.
Yes.
Whichever one you observe or follow.
The Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
Consult that.
I did have a funny realization while we were there. So there's a famous place called Mike's Pastry.
Yes.
Which is, they serve cannolis, which, where do you get a cannoli around here? Nowhere.
No,
that's the answer.
Not able to find a good one here.
And I had been to, we've been there together before. I've been there a number of times, even like when I was in college and I would go to Boston.
Yeah.
And I had a realization this time. I was like, wait a minute.
This is touristy.
This place is a tourist trap.
I mean, the cannolis are delicious.
The food is really good, yeah.
It is touristy.
I just looked around, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, when someone is wheeling a suitcase in there, you know it's touristy. And then we were at the panel and we're like, where is the other cannoli place that we should be going to? They're like Modern Pastry, which is what I told you the day that we got there. I was like, isn't there the other one that's supposed to be not as touristy? And you were like, no.
Does it taste better? That's all I care about.
It tastes, well...
Whether I get perceived as a tourist or not, I'm clearly from out of town.
This is where I might get, like, in trouble.
You better watch out.
Because I think they both taste good.
Okay.
And I can't really tell the difference.
That's a positive, if you think they're both good.
I can't really tell. Honestly, I can't tell the difference.
All right. Bostonians,
but if you're
sound off
maybe if you're
in
a
the
Bostonian,
comments.
you're like, you have
Oh, there's probably a third place that's not...
horrible cannoli taste buds.
There's probably a third place that's not even in that area. That's like, oh, this is where the real stuff is.
Yeah, you're not a cannoli connoisseur.
Dorchester.
Oh, Dorchester.
Gloucester.
Gloucestershire.
Right, exactly. all these, just outside of Boston.
I'm sure there's like a mom and pop cannoli
That's
place
where the real
that
cannoli
has like
action
the real good cannolis.
Yes.
We did eat very well in Boston.
We did.
Beyond the cannolis, we ate well.
So we earned it back and changing our focus to the next thing.
Oh yeah.
We got by the time by the time this episode is out, the Nintendo San Francisco store it'll be opening day. When this is out for everybody, opening day.
Thursday is opening day for the Nintendo store.
And we are going opening day, very exciting. We got those reservations. We still have them. They've not been canceled. There's still time for Nintendo to look at that list and say, oh, no.
Still time for you to get there and be bounced at the door. Oh, you?
Sir, come this way, sir.
This is a Wendy's. Please leave. Anything could happen. Anyways, but we do currently have reservations for opening day. We've been seeing some teaser photos that they've been posting about
it looks
this
nice.
thing. It looks very nice. We were saying that it does look more akin to the Japan Nintendo stores versus the New York one. Now in Boston, we did meet with some of our old friends from Nintendo New York, and they were saying there was a little grumble,
potentially some controversy,
of frustration, maybe disappointment that, hey, how come in the San Francisco store there are more items that you can get from the Japan store? Right, like why is there more of that versus what we have going on in the New York store, which is more like, standard kind of shirts and plushies and games and stuff like that. And in the, obviously in the Japan stores, they have like tons of, lifestyle stuff, and we were looking at the entire camping section for Splatoon. Like, they got more of that going on. So I am curious to see like what the balance is and how it differs from the New York store, because I really like the New York store. I think the New York store was so much fun, and there's always a treat to go there. But I will say that the stuff there, like I never really bought too many things there. Like some of the clothing, the designs were not like that cute. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just the logo on a shirt. Like, I'm sorry, but maybe do better.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Can't match this. Mario is a QR code shirt that you're wearing.
I love
Where's
this
from?
shirt.
This is Uniqlo?
This is Uniqlo, yeah.
That's a Uniqlo.
I love this shirt.
Yeah.
But your shirt.
Will they have the 3-foot Link statue from Nintendo Tokyo, though? That's the question that I really have.
Put it on a pedestal.
Listen, that's where Nintendo New York has a leg up. Like, we have the real right-size, life-size Link.
Yeah,
all right?
and the big Pikachu as well, which is very cute.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
That's true. The statues there, like just displays, like little museum area.
Yeah, they're starting to tease it on social media now. You
Really
can
nice.
see inside. Yeah, it looks like a lot of stuff that we saw in Japan. So I'm curious, what's that? What's the unique stuff that they're going to have?
Yeah.
We're going to do a full store tour, probably like the morning after we go, because we have reservations kind of in the afternoon and
Yeah,
the
we'll put
evening.
it
We can't
together.
go in together.
Well, we don't know
Is
that.
what they're saying.
We don't. It's what they're saying.
I kind of know that, but
You think they won't let us?
again, you have to turn up the charm.
Or threats?
You're going to threaten them. How? You put a camera in somebody? Is that what you do? Your Karen moves? You're gonna bust out the
Oh, a
Karen moves?
camera.
Can I speak to the manager? Can you believe this? Oh my gosh, I need to go to Mobile Patrol Unit 5 and have them talk
Mobile
some sense into
Unit
you.
2
Yes,
is
officer,
there.
sir.
Officer, I'm being harassed by this Nintendo
Yes.
employee.
You need to put your dog on a leash and blah blah blah.
My dog's on a leash.
I'm not talking about you.
I was thinking about bringing my dog actually
Oh,
to the store.
okay.
Maybe that will.
Are pets welcome?
I don't know. They should be. That's where I
you
get them
get-
to. Nintendo, you hate animals.
Kind of important that you get inside. So
Nintendo, what's wrong with you?
maybe
Why
read
are
the
you so
rules and regulations.
anti-consumer? You hate my dog.
$80 games.
You hate me.
You got a game key card.
You are discriminatory towards my reservation time.
Not only does the cartridge not have the game on it, it tastes bad.
Yeah.
This is too much.
This is over the line. You've crossed a line.
All right.
So we'll try to
So
do
Karen and
something.
Krysta is going to be showing up. That's
Karen
I
Krysta.
can't wait to see this.
Both starts with a K.
I cannot wait to see this.
Kick Karen.
Oh my gosh. And then it's also going to be in our big vlog for the month,
Yes.
which that's probably going to be the last big thing that go. Oh, no, your birthday will be the last big thing.
What's happening
Because
to
that's
my
coming
birthday?
up. I don't know. Why would I know?
You got big plans?
I just gave you a wonderful Togepi.
I wanted to bring it to this
Plush.
podcast. You said no.
You didn't ask me that.
I did
you made
ask
that,
you.
You made that up in your head.
I said if I could. I asked you if I can hold it, Jordan. You just said no.
We did not have that conversation.
You said no.
You're
You
making
refused.
things up. All right, so fun times are ahead. We're just about to get into our conversation of our top Nintendo Switch moments and our top 10 lists of Nintendo Switch games of all time. But
Wow.
first, we have a sponsor to shout out, a brand new sponsor. Welcome.
Oh boy, welcome.
This episode is sponsored by Cash App.
Thank you.
Love it. Listen, when you think that you're going to send or receive money through an app, you think like, oh, this is going to be so easy, this is going to be so convenient. But a lot of times it really isn't. There are often
Oh my gosh.
hidden fees.
Yes.
Sometimes it takes a long time for the money to actually show up.
Or the worst thing ever, you send it to the wrong person.
Yes, it's
That's
like
100%
squinting at
happened
a
to me.
profile. It's like, oh, is this it? It's like, no, it was off by some.
And you can't get it back.
It's gone. It's just gone.
Sometimes that's really
So
frustrating.
There are a lot of hassles with this, but let's talk about Cash App and make it a lot better.
Yes. They are such a fast, safe, and easy way to send and receive money to family and friends. You know, I have so many Switch 2 pre-orders that I have for other people.
Okay.
And they are sending me the money for them through Cash App.
Nice.
Because it is a lot of money.
That's true.
I have paid for it all on my personal credit card. I was just talking to our good friend Joe, who is taking
Capcom Joe.
Capcom Joe, who's
Yes.
taking one of my Mario Kart bundles. And I'm happy to do this for my friends. You know, they've done it for me in the past. But girls gotta get paid because
True.
I'm not footing the bill for 4 Nintendo Switch 2s.
True.
And Cash App has been great for that. And it's so safe and so secure and so easy and so fast.
That's something that I really like about it, which is I do get really nervous when it's like, oh, you know, I'm inputting it for the first time, or it's somebody that I don't know.
Right.
Like, is this the right account? Is this even a person, a human being that I'm sending it to?
Yeah.
They have scam warnings that will pop up if they think that the account that you were sending the money to looks a little fishy.
Yeah, it looks
so
fake,
I really appreciate that as just another layer of confidence, knowing like, no, this is the right place for the money to be going, because it's your hard-earned money.
It's a lot of money.
It needs to go where it needs to go.
It's not like $10.
No.
It's like $500.
It needs to go where it needs to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And
My
nobody
goodness.
wants to have a situation where it's like, I paid you, and you're like,
What?
No, you didn't.
You what? Yeah.
Now you can't get your money back.
Just like you said you were going to bring a Togepi plush. You what? Huh?
You lied.
For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash for real. There's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code KITKRYSTA in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account.
Wow.
Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Wow.
That's like 2 coffees.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty nice. You get money? What's there?
Well, that's great.
We'll put the link right over here, and also a QR code, and also in the description below.
I love it.
I love it.
Okay. We are starting with our top Nintendo Switch moments, and then we're going to switch over to our list of our top 10 Nintendo Switch games.
Wow.
So we each came up with our top 3 Nintendo Switch moments. We're going to share those. I ended up coming up with my top 6 because I felt like we might have some... We may have come up with the exact same list, so it's like I need more.
You need some backups.
But it was actually very easy.
I mean, there's a million moments to choose from
with all of this. I mean, I have a question for you, which is like, of all of the Nintendo moments that we experienced working there, like let's say like the top 10, or like, how many of those are from the Nintendo Switch versus how many great Wii U moments did you have? You know,
it's true. I mean, there's definitely a lot of moments from the Switch era that make it into the top 10 like all-time, you know, working at Nintendo moments. I will say that I did really like, and sometimes I do look fondly, maybe it's with a bit of rose-colored glasses or whatever they call it, at those Wii U moments sometimes, because it was a time where we were able to be very creative, and we did have like more, you know, more fun with some of that aspect of it. But in terms of like the morale and like
triumphant moments,
a triumphant moment
of victory.
Yeah, that's more so in the Switch era.
Those are nice to have too. Yeah. And that's a little bit different than what we were experiencing.
Yeah, so I mean,
finding ourselves during a Wii U.
Yeah, all good moments.
Yes.
Mine are a bit maybe broader. Now that I'm talking to you, I have a feeling that mine are just a bit broader in terms of like. Not a specific, you know, like this, in this 30 seconds I experienced this. It's like more so like in a moment in time I experienced this thing, and I thought it was really amazing. So, not sure.
I don't know what that means, but...
Well, you've categorized as
put it on
moment.
us. I don't know what that means, but put it on us.
Okay, so my first
please.
My first one is just the Breath of the Wild phenomenon.
Oh, yes.
And I'm specifically referring to, yes, of course the game was great and it won Game of the Year and blah, blah. But I'm specifically referring to like that year plus where basically all of us collectively as a human race, we were playing this game together. It felt like it.
Yes.
And it really felt like there was discoveries being made every day, and like every day you looked, it was like somebody was like, you know, did you know you could do this?
Right.
Or, oh my God, look what I found. Or, have you guys tried doing this? And it just went on and on and on. And you thought, oh yeah, you know, a normal game, you kind of have these kinds of launch, you know, excitements. They maybe last for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
At most, they last for a few months. But to have that kind of experience carry for that length of time was really incredible. And it really gave me the sense of like, yeah, like this is the first time where, as an adult, I am having that same like schoolyard feeling of like someone had read some secret in Nintendo Power, and then you go to school the next day, and that's everyone's talking about it at recess, or you're sharing tips and tricks, and you're like asking somebody like, how do I beat that part? Like I hadn't experienced that again, after not being in elementary school. I hadn't experienced that again until that moment in Breath of the Wild where we all had this like collective shared fun experience together. And I think beyond Elden Ring, no other game has achieved that. I don't know if another game will achieve
Welcome
that.
Tour.
Welcome Tour is the next
Welcome
one.
Tour.
Mario Kart World, maybe, I don't know. You don't know what will like people latch onto, But that was a true phenomenon.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it was like everything kind of was right, lightning in a bottle, and then it happened, and we lived it we enjoyed it for a long time.
Right.
And I don't know when that's going to happen again, if ever. So thank God we had that moment then.
Are you going to be crushed to find out this was also on my list?
No, because it's
your very unique perspective on things.
No, I think everyone should have this on their list. If you don't have this on your list,
I mean, we're doing top 3.
Something is wrong.
There's a lot of things at 3. Yeah, I think I agree with everything that you said of just that fun of the discovery. And at that time, we were doing a really like boring weekly report that we had to do, the Switch Trends report, which is like, here's what people are doing out in the world with their Nintendo Switch. And like this was just always like every week there was some new thing. So we had like an insight view into, whoa, this guy just speed ran the game by holding onto a boulder and shooting it off into the sky, or like, oh, look, you can cook the meat if you do it this way. It's like all these. So we had like the front row seat to seeing all those crazy things that you could do, but also, with the access that we had to the game pre-launch, like we knew how special it was. And then there was just like this moment of like, oh, these people are about to find out. They're going to see how great this game is. They're really going to find out.
Yes, but you didn't expect them for it to be that big. I didn't, at least.
I did.
Maybe if you did.
I had the confidence.
I mean, we all knew the game was magic as soon as we touched and saw it, but like the response was, and the longevity of the response was really a surprise.
Yeah, for the game to be that active for like over a year plus. Like there's some games that come out that are like big games, and it's like, will this still be relevant like the weekend after it is released?
Especially the way that the pace of which games come out these days and how people's attention spans are like that of a gnat. And I would say that like Tears of the Kingdom saw a fraction of this.
Yes, it was a smaller scale.
It was a smaller scale, but we did see that kind of like, oh, people are building Gundams, that kind of stuff was really cool to see that repeat itself. Like we made pod racers, we did the things. That was really fun, but it was not to the level of the Breath of the Wild phenomenon. So even a game that was built on the foundation of Breath of the Wild didn't really see that again. So that just makes me realize like, oh my gosh, how special was this? Because when would we ever get something like this again, if ever? Will we ever get this again? Like you really start to like think about how all the pieces have to fit together for something like this to happen.
Right.
Again, so.
Why don't you keep going? Normally we trade off, but why don't you go through all 3 of yours?
Okay. The other thing for me that was just really magical within the Switch era is it becoming Switch becoming sort of this indie machine.
Oh, yeah.
And becoming this like darling platform for indie games. Mm-hmm. And I'm specifically referring to the experience that I personally had with a segmentation of indie games that were less play this video game, it's really fun. Yes, there was an aspect of this game is, at its core, like fun to play, but a lot of these games had these like more like emotional connections, more like deeper human aspects to it, and like touched on things that were a bit more, sometimes like harder for you to talk about with other people, or even like kind of realize within yourself.
Like Cruise and Blast.
Like Cruise and Blast,
okay,
exactly. The games I have on my list for this is like Grease, Spiritfarer, Celeste, Florence, like those games that I played that really like sort of touched my heart in a different way. And like, it does more for you than just like, this was, what a fun game to play. It was more like, oh, it got me thinking about some stuff. It helped me, get through maybe a hard time, or it like kind of in this beautiful like visual interactive way, like, helped to like heal you in a way, or just like give you the sense of like, this is more than just I'm having fun playing, but like this is like truly something that is part of like your human identity and experience that is being shown to you in this medium.
Right.
And that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a big deal to be able to like do that within the medium of video games.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, if you look at the overall Switch, like all the software that's out there for the Switch, you could look at it and say, oh my gosh, look at how top heavy this is. Like the stuff that's at the top, like will Nintendo ever achieve these same heights? If you look at like the five biggest and best games on the Switch, but looking at it the other way, it's like it absolutely isn't. And as I was doing my top 10 list, which we'll get into later, I did feel kind of bad because like, ooh, there's a lot of games that kind of fit into that more indie category. It's like, well, they're not going to crack my top 10 list, but like that experience of having access to so many great games and being exposed on a scale that I hadn't on a system before, that is something that was really unique to this system. And I really hope continues with the Switch 2, that you know, it can be such a positive place for indies to be, and such a great platform to play them on. Like I almost wish like I had a secondary list of like, because it's like, well, I want to do some honorable mentions, but it's like there's these other ones and I don't know how to categorize them.
Yeah, totally.
But games that I probably would not have seen or been exposed to any other way. And that is one of the big memories or experiences that I will keep with me, of just like game after game. Like, wow, we're just finding these hidden gems like nobody's business.
It's so true. Like it was this great place of discovery. There was always something that someone found. Nine in the Woods. I should put that on the list.
And I remember the first one, the first game that I experienced, it was like that. Mr. Shifty. Shout out to Mr. Shifty.
Oh yeah, someone came to us at PAX East and was like, you introduced me to Mr. Shifty, and I love that game, and I wish they had a second one.
And that's like kind of a random indie game that I found, and that was still like within the first couple months of the Switch coming out, and everybody, like myself included, was still deep into Breath of the Wild. But I remember like I put it down for like a weekend to like, because I was addicted to Mr. Shifty.
Yeah.
And there's so many games like that that just like stand at the same level of these big, you know, first party or AAA games.
Yeah. I think that's such a wonderful, unique thing about Switch. And I'm honestly a little worried about this sort of phenomenon, this kind of this ability of discovery on Switch 2.
Why is that?
I feel like with the new eShop, it makes it harder to find these things. Now now we have more options too. Like it's a bit more spread out. Now we have, you know, the Steam Deck and things like that, where these kinds of games are also there. So it's just, I feel like it's a little bit, for me at least, a little bit more spread out. Like, well, where does this game exist? You know?
Yeah. It did have a couple years before the shovelware really came hard.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, Nintendo does some good work in terms of like spotlighting indies. They have those indie showcases and things like that. But even the spirit of that, I feel, has shifted a little bit, where yes, they're spotlighting indie games, but it's almost like indie games that have already broken through versus a true undiscovered gem.
Right. That'll always, I think, be like a community effort where it's like people are really doing the work of like, oh my gosh, I found this thing, and you know, they talk about it on a forum, or like people like I love, you know, our friend Wood beat 'em ups, like he's been doing for a long time, these like, you know, hidden gem indie games.
Exactly.
And like he's done so many of those videos at this point. And it's like that. It's out there. You do have to do a bit of work, but that's fun. The hunt of it can be really fun too.
And you definitely have those people that you trust to recommend.
Yeah, even if you have a great game, you don't want it to feel like a hunt for your game to get discovered.
True. I mean, that for the person developing,
if you're the person who made it,
made a beautiful game,
can I just get the word out there on this
and want people to discover? That's tough. That's really tough.
Right.
But yeah, beyond just like discovering indie games, there were just these very special games on Switch that really went beyond like any sort of categorization or definition of the word video game that I've ever played, and they truly like helped me grow as a person. So it's really incredible that people made these games, these beautiful works of art, and they exist on this platform.
So your third thing is probably Labo?
Yes, how'd you know? That's in the trash.
I love cardboard.
I have burned that. Or someone's burned it.
Recycling enthusiast?
I have recycled it. I did recycle it.
Good.
At least that.
From whence it came.
It's more than it deserved.
Wow.
For me to put it in a recycling bin.
All right.
My last one is just that, like, it truly fulfilled its promise of being a home console you take on the go. Because I took this thing with me everywhere I went, like quite literally, you know, until like the very last year of Nintendo Switch where it was getting a little bit light on the games.
Yeah.
I mean, I never left the house without this thing. I never went on a trip without it. I always had some backlog of games that I was excited to play. I was always excited to get on an airplane because I was like, oh good, now I have a couple hours to like dig into what I got going on my Switch. I calculated in the 8, you know, almost 9 years, like the average maybe miles that I've traveled. I think my Switch has gone more than 135,000 miles in its life. And it's been around the world.
Wow.
You know, it's like, it's been my little travel buddy.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, this Switch 2 is going to be my travel buddy too. That's not going to change. Although it is bigger, so maybe not as a little unwieldy, a little bit more.
Well, the last couple of years, when I've gone on trips,
Yeah.
if it's a longer trip, I've brought the Switch and the Steam Deck, which is that's
a lot.
Fat packed backpack.
It's heavy.
And I have my big summer vacation coming at the end of June, and I'm probably just going to be bringing the Switch too, which would be nice. It's like, all right, we're back into this.
Yeah.
I just need one device for all of this to last me. But sure, like we had kind of a bittersweet moment coming back from Boston because we realized, well, this is probably it for this one.
Yeah.
And we had a great time playing it on the way back.
Clubhouse games, once again. My favorite
You wanted
thing.
to hustle me in cards, which I was like,
what to hustle you.
You got the Balatro.
I wanted to
how do you say
teach
it?
you
Balatro. You got the Balatro playing cards, and you're like, I want to play some card games with you. And I'm like, you're gonna hustle me.
I wasn't going to. I wanted to teach you some card games. You refused to play with me, but we did play Clubhouse games, which is our favorite playing game.
We did.
So fun.
You did.
But yeah, it really was like, you know, that was sort of the whole point of the system.
Yeah.
That was the point from the very beginning. You like did it.
Yeah.
I did it. Like for like 8 years I did it. You know, like that was literally changed my life in the way that I travel and the way that I play video games. Like I did the thing. I did the tagline. It's crazy.
Is that really a Nintendo Switch moment? The past 8 years?
I think so.
Is that the one moment?
I think so. That's why it's like a little bit broader.
All right. Well, I guess Animal Crossing and the pandemic was not a top moment, so I guess it's just not going to make the list.
Well, it was a close fourth.
Really? Okay, interesting. Well, it was on my list, but I guess we don't need to mention it.
Well, you
don't look at the list.
You can mention it.
Don't look. We should probably talk about Super Smash Brothers.
I don't want to.
We should probably talk about Super Smash Brothers. I don't think you can talk about Nintendo Switch without talking about that. Starting with the Everyone Is Here trailer, getting that start. Remember how big a deal every one of those character reveals was? You know, put aside your feelings, the pain. Put aside the pain for a moment.
I can't.
All right. Then that's why I have it on my list.
It's too intertwined for me, so I can't really talk about
that
it.
That was really like, if you had like a graph of the hype of the fans, like those moments would always be like maximum hype. And it was always fun, like how Sakurai would do it. Like he would have his little fake outs or like misdirects. Like, oh, I thought it was this one thing, but it was actually that. Done in such a fun and creative way. Interesting, like oftentimes like the reveals would even surpass like when those characters actually became available. You know, that was an interesting phenomenon. You seem upset.
I'm not upset. I'm listening to you.
But yeah, I think that's like so intertwined with like the Nintendo Switch experience of like having this really, you know, peak Super Smash Brothers experience, but also all this excitement around it for an extended time with the Fighters Passes as well. It had this extended life that the other games
never ended.
Didn't have as well. It's over.
Never.
It's over, and maybe you should get over it. Maybe I'm here to say that.
I'm not going to get over it ever.
Okay. I'm going to say the Game Awards 2017.
Yes, I thought that was going to be on your list. I didn't put it on mine for a reason.
Absolutely.
Gave it to you.
You want to talk about like the triumphant moments. I think that was the most triumphant moment we had, where we had the two games that were really the two legitimate candidates to win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
We had all the team from Japan out there. And just we celebrated into the night. It was like we had won the Best Picture Oscar. We're just out on the town, out on this town in Los Angeles.
I think my favorite was Mr. Aonuma's reaction to winning. Like, that was crazy.
Yes.
Like, he popped off
in a way that we did not expect at all.
Exactly. Sometimes you're like, do they really care?
Like, oh, it's another award. Cool.
Yeah, you can't tell. Like,
right.
I mean, you kind of want to. You don't want to make a big deal out of it if they don't win.
Yes.
Right? Because then they're going to feel bad. But you're like kind of trying to, like in the days leading up to it, in the weeks leading up to it, I feel like we were all trying to feel that, like, how much do they actually care about winning this award?
Right.
And whether or not this is going to feel like a big deal to them. But it was a huge deal. Like, it actually really was a huge deal to him. And his reaction when they called Breath of the Wild for the Game of the Year award was like incredible to see.
Yes,
like he was the most excited I think I've ever seen.
It was just a great culmination of the entire year, which had gone so well. And yeah, everybody was just so happy. All the key people were there. Reggie was there. Like you said, all the people from Japan were there. We were there. It was so fun.
So fun.
And they were ready to pop some bottles after that. Like, it was like everybody, I think everybody had that same feeling of like, oh my gosh, we did it.
I wanted to spray
and
champagne.
Let's just take a moment.
Like, maybe that's too far.
Let's just take a moment. Put down the heavy apps and let's take a moment to celebrate. No, we did not. We did not have a wonderful, extravagant dinner. We had heavy apps.
Emily in Paris said you should always have one champagne bottle for spraying and one for drinking.
Oh, for spraying. Okay.
Spray the champagne. You know.
All right.
There was a lot of champagne. We drank a lot of champagne that night.
Yeah, but yeah, we did. I mean, we have a whole video about this experience. If you want to hear the full story, it's a great episode. So you can check that one out.
Yeah. Amazing.
Boy, what else do I have on my list? Just real fast, like I think we have to like acknowledge it. Like the Switch reveal, October 2016, again, kind of like a moment of turning the page for us.
Yeah.
From the very rough couple years of the Wii U to, oh no, we're back. We have this thing. We're gonna be okay.
Yes.
This is going to work. We've talked about that a lot, so we don't have to belabor that, but I think that needs to be on the list.
It's great though, because it like started off, like talk about the difference between starting off your generation on like the strongest foot ever versus Switch 2, which has been very exciting, but a bit of a rocky start, I would say, in terms of sort of up and down versus just the enormous amount of hopeful positivity that was Switch 1.
Right.
There is a notable difference there. And that was felt, inside the company by the people that were, we were working on it, living it. And I think also outside of Nintendo, they felt it too. So that was like a really cool thing.
Yeah. Since you decided not to follow the directions of this little exercise we're doing, Animal Crossing in the pandemic, we got to acknowledge that.
Saved our lives.
Yes. We have more to talk about that when we do our top 10 games.
Yes.
But then finally, one that's a bit more kind of personal to us is the Tears of the Kingdom launch, May 2023. That was really, until the Switch 2 launch, that was like really the biggest Nintendo new release that we have been a part of since we left the company.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And that was just such a great experience to finally be a part of it amongst all of the fellow fans.
Yes.
And watch as all of those reveals happened. And finally, like that was so like palpable, like those days around the launch of when it first came out and they were playing it and everybody sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
And we had some really fun videos around that, and we were finally coming to grips with what this game was, which still remained a little mysterious, like up until the point that it actually came out. They're very, very tight with the info. So I think it's fitting to mention that now for us because, we're experiencing something that's very similar, but also bigger.
Yes.
Bigger as well.
That's a good point, actually, because we've been looking forward to experiencing a big Nintendo moment as non-Nintendo employees for a really long time. Ever since we had left the company and started this new thing, started this channel, started doing these podcasts, started doing stuff independently, we've been wanting to experience the hype really like alongside our community. Like, we want to react to a Nintendo Direct and not know what's in a Nintendo Direct. Like, we wanted to experience a big game launch without having been part of the people making a rollout schedule for the big game launch. And we finally got a chance to do that in its full capacity with Tears of the Kingdom. Like, we did all that stuff leading up to it. We really celebrated the launch of this huge game. We were obviously like just both so excited to play this game too, and then being able to have our community like share that excitement with us and like kind of live it with everybody was like really exciting. And yes, we're definitely doing that right now with Switch 2. But yes, Tears of the Kingdom was like the first one of those moments for us.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you like how rare those types of games or experiences are.
Yes.
Where, in the time that we've been doing this, like these are definitely the top two, and there are times where there's not any. So you do really need to embrace those and celebrate those and get the most out of them. So yeah, that's my list. So I think we touched upon a lot of the big stuff, a lot of the big moments.
Now we just have to wait for big moments to come for Switch 2 and then remember those in 8 years.
Exactly, and then do it again and again.
Until we die.
Until we're in the ground, yes.
Yes.
Great. Good attitude about it. Let's switch gears and now do our top 10 games, our top 10 Switch games of all time. We each did a list. This was pre-recorded at PAX East. This was our panel.
Yes.
You can hear the crowd approving or not
Tomatoes were thrown
of our choices. So without further ado, here it is.
Today!
Yay!
We're at PAX East! Woo!
Wonderful.
Well, we're so glad to be here with you. We haven't been back to Boston in a really long time. It's been over 6 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
2020 was the last PAX East that we were here. We actually have a really long history with PAX East. We've been coming to a lot of these shows. Obviously, the first several were with Nintendo. And we would do these kind of like fake panels then, where it was
they
like,
were not as nerve-wracking for me, the fake panels.
We're with Nintendo, and they're like, well, we don't do panels officially, but like we have this room, so if you guys wanted to do something, you could. So we did a couple of these in the smaller room, which were super fun.
Were any of you guys there?
Yeah, who came to those? Yeah.
Oh, see? I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. So it's been a while since we've done one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we did, this is a panel with the Bravely Second developers who were here. The Nintendo Switch came out like right around in 2017, PAX East. And then of course 2020, who could forget the PAX East that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I remember they were like, if you don't want to go, we understand. You don't have to go. We're like, I think it should be fine.
I've got a drum barrel of hand sanitizer, so I'm going to be fine, right?
We'll just spritz our hands.
No problem.
It'll be fine. And
Big deal.
They did the crazy, incredible Animal Crossing
Beautiful
Horizons
booth. Yes.
That basically only saw the light of day at that PAX East, and then they tucked it away. They tucked it away for like the entirety of the pandemic.
Right,
so,
right, exactly.
Yeah, incredible.
So yeah, we have not been back since, but it's great to be back. It's awesome to be back.
This is what we did last night.
And I mean, we're basically locals, right?
Yes, we had to go back to the North End to eat cannolis.
Is this a touristy place or not?
It is. Okay.
I had been there a bunch of times, but last night I had that realization. I was like, wait, this maybe is not where the locals go.
Where are the real cannolis?
Where are the real cannolis? Where are you hiding them?
I told you it was modern. I told you.
We'll go there.
I was like, there was another place that people were saying that we should be going to that's more authentic.
Many people are saying, yes. Okay.
Anyways.
Great.
That was fun.
That cannoli was good too.
That was delicious. I
Yes.
mean, it was delicious, so it doesn't matter.
It was.
Yes. So today we have been walking around and looking at stuff. We did see some stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow is actually our bigger day for doing appointments and stuff. But yeah, today was a great day to just walk around and see the entire show. And we kind of love going through that big block of indie games because it's like I haven't heard of a lot of these games before, and it's just a good chance to sit in and talk to some of these people. Got a chance to meet the creator of Demon Tides, which is a series that I just within the last 6 months kind of fell in love with.
Yeah, they were like, we finally get to see you in person. That's like the best part of PAX.
Right.
Being there and like seeing people that you've been playing their games, or even like for us, we talk to them, just online and stuff, and it's like, oh, we finally get to meet them, so that's been really fun.
And then there was a developer for a game called Tanuki Ponds Summer. Did anybody play that, see that?
So cute.
They're from a developer called Denkiworks. They're based in Japan, and we actually met the developer when we were in Japan. We did not know him before, but we had a dinner with Aya Kyogoku of Animal Crossing. She's the director of Animal Crossing. She's like, I'm gonna bring some friends, and he was one of the friends that she brought.
Such a fun night.
Animal Crossing approved?
Yes,
basically,
I think so.
right?
Yes.
So you should check that game
Also
out.
features a raccoon somehow.
Yes,
so,
yes.
There you go. Very
excellent
cute game.
stuff, yes.
Yeah.
We visited the Genki booth today, which had many disclaimers and legal signs. We are not affiliated. There were no 3D printed Switch 2s or anything of the sort.
A lot of printed signs.
Yes.
But their accessories, they look pretty good.
Oh,
they are very high quality.
I would love to use those accessories.
We have purchased them before,
yes.
And we like their stuff.
Gladly.
Tomorrow, though,
Oh.
we do have something cool planned. Because we've been shadow banned by Nintendo, just kidding. But we have not actually touched a Switch 2 yet. Tomorrow we may or may not
Perhaps until tomorrow?
We may or may not be touching it for the first time.
No. I'm not sure there's one like on the show floor, but we have some kind of in the back, behind closed doors, where maybe there might be one.
I feel like we get to touch it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll finally get to see what a magnet does.
Tell me about the magnets.
Tell me about everything about this magnet.
Yes.
And we'll be definitely sharing our honest thoughts.
Yeah. We've also been just refreshing our email all day because we're on, of course, the My Nintendo. We registered our interest.
Oh, we did.
Did anybody get the email?
Yes. Oh.
You got it. One person in this entire room.
What?
Good.
Well, good thing we have these other pre-orders.
We haven't gotten ours yet, and maybe we
thing.
won't. So.
Yeah, I've been talking to my friends too, and people have been panic texting me like, I didn't get it. I'm like, well, I can't help you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry. So.
Yeah, we did that pretty much immediately when that site went up, but I guess it can still go until 8 Pacific tonight is what I heard, so 11 time here. I don't know.
I'm not holding my breath for this. This is
hard to say.
Hard to say. I mean, you had a great experience in a physical line at GameStop.
Loved it.
And it was awesome that was the way that you got yours.
Yeah.
So I think you're good. So anyhow.
GameStop line gang? Yes.
Yes.
That was the way to go.
Yeah, and then the midnight launch, they're doing the midnight launch stuff, which will be really
I'm going to see
fun.
all those people again. That's the nice thing. The nice guy that I stood in line with.
I thought that was hilarious when you texted me the photo of the guy watching the podcast in the line behind you.
Well, I think so somebody recognized me in the line, and then the guy next to me did not know. He's like, oh, who are you? It's like, what's your story? And I told him.
What's your story?
And I think he had some secret aspiration of starting a podcast himself, because he's like, tell me about the business model of podcasts.
What is the business model of podcasts?
I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Would you like to tell us?
But he had a lot of questions, and he was studying. I was like, oh yes, your channel. I've been studying it closely because we had a couple hours to kill.
Oh wow.
So he was studying up.
Deep analytics on the channel in the line.
It's going to be nice to reunite with those people.
What if you saw him and he was like, I totally figured it out. I sold my
I've got 1 million subscribers.
For $1 million. And you're like, oh, really?
I have the #1 podcast in America. Take that, Joe Rogan.
Could happen. You never know.
Okay, you never know.
Today, though,
I
had the realization coming to PAX that this is the last time I will be taking my Switch 1 on a trip. I was like, this is so weird. Because I remember so clearly in 2017, when this was the first trip I took my Switch on. And I remember on that airplane going to PAX, there was a lot of media people on that same flight with us. Every single person was playing Breath of the Wild. And I was walking down the aisle to go to the bathroom, and people were glued to their Nintendo Switch playing Breath of the Wild. And this is our last trip with our original Nintendo Switch. So we wanted to do a big Switch farewell today and share some fun memories of things that goodbye. Yes.
Put the sad eyes on the Switch.
It's very sad.
Bye.
It's the end of an era, as they say.
It is.
But yes, we wanted to do a bit of a proper farewell to this amazing you know, amazing system, amazing time that we've had over the last, 8 years with Switch. And we're going to be counting down our top 10 Nintendo Switch games.
Yes, that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
Our top 10 Nintendo Switch
and you can
games.
you can heckle us if you think that we're wrong.
Who packed tomatoes?
Yeah, if you don't agree with us, you can heckle us. It's okay. We won't get mad. But yeah, it's crazy to think about it though, that this is the last time you'll like take it with you on a big trip, play it. We were playing on the airplane. I was like, this is the last time. Goodbye.
It is a little bittersweet.
It's a little
I think we, with this system took us through so many times and so many memories. And as we were syncing Joy-Con, I thought, boy, I sure hope they have something better for the Switch 2. And then they immediately shared a screenshot of the exact same interface on the Switch 2 of syncing Joy-Con. So
maybe the magnets will help.
The magnets will help.
The magnets will save us all.
The magnets will improve everything.
You can jam that C button.
Yeah.
Game chat away.
Before we get to the top 10 list, we do have some honorable mentions.
We do.
Which, it's hard. There are so many games. When you did the virtual game cards, it would tell you like, oh, you have this many things on your Switch 2, and I had over 450 things.
I had 378 things.
Right, so picking just 10 was very hard.
Yeah.
So when we were making those, of course we had more than 10. So we just had to call out a few here.
It was hard. It was hard to get it down to to 12. So.
And then yesterday when we were on the plane, I was playing some Cruisin' Blast, and I was like, ooh, that's a great game. And I told you, I was like, I want to add this to my honorable mention. You shut me down.
I said, this is written in stone
The
now.
list is closed.
like
the Pope, the people have spoken.
Exactly.
The selection has
been
made.
The voting has been closed. I'm sorry.
I sent out my puff of smoke.
The smoke has been already done. You can't do it again. Your two honorable mentions, though, No More Heroes 3 and Mario plus Rabbids.
The second Mario and Rabbids. I do like the first Mario and Rabbids, but I think I like the second one a little bit more. The lists, no shock, are going to be first party pretty heavy. So I think
some third party.
There's a couple. It's nice to get a couple of these third party games on. And you talk about bittersweet. It's like the Mario and Rabbids games. Those creators have moved on, so that's probably. I don't know, who knows, but probably a wrap on that little series. But yeah, talk about something, when we first heard about that, I was like, ugh, what are we doing here? Rabbids? Come on, isn't there something better? Can we get Minions or something?
Remember when he cried during the press conference?
That was incredible.
During Mr. Miyamoto's?
That was a sign that this was gonna.
That was a sign that this was gonna. A passionate person was making this game.
Work out. Yeah, and then No More Heroes 3. We got to meet with Suda before this game came out.
Yeah, that was great.
He talked about saving on the toilet, how that would return. That's an iconic moment. But this is a game that kind of borders on the absurd. And I talk about Nintendo games are so hyper polished and give you this perfect experience, and this is the opposite. It's Suda talks about being punk rock in game form, and that's totally
who
what this is. So it's nice to play a different kind of game on the Switch now and then.
Yes.
People seem upset with you with these two.
Why? I mean, that's what it is.
All right. I like to point this out. You handle all of our great visuals, and you have a special talent, which is when you're pulling visuals
from the internet.
You pull strange versions. So look at this. We have one with a rating pending. We have one with no ESRB rating. Right. We have one with a proper ESRB rating, and we have one with a PEGI 7.
Look, whatever
you couldn't get Zero. You couldn't get Japan involved.
The SEO shows me on Google Images.
The first Google image, you will take it.
Usually it's it's a fan art.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
What is this?
It's illegal fan art. It's why are you pulling this?
What is this?
That is not the right.
No.
That's not official artwork at all.
No, we can't have that here.
No.
Yeah.
Anyhow, these are.
What are you going to say about Xenoblade and Kirby?
Well, Xenoblade, I cried.
Defend your selections.
I cried pretty much.
Then why isn't it higher?
80% of this game.
Why isn't it higher?
The ending. Sorry. The ending was a little shaky on this game, guys. I don't care what you say. Chapter 5 kind of peaked the game, and then I'm not sure about the chapters after that. You stopped playing after Chapter 5.
True. I watched the rest on YouTube.
You didn't even watch. Yeah. You didn't even watch the rest on YouTube. You watched 2 more chapters on YouTube, and you gave up on that.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that say about you? Kirby.
Kirby?
I love Kirby, but there was just other games that beat out my beautiful
Kirby Star Allies? Higher on the list?
Yes.
Number 1. It's going to be number 1.
Number 1, game of the year. But this is a great game.
Right.
And I'm kind of excited about that Switch edition. Switch 2 edition.
Totally.
Version, whatever it's called. Could be fun.
Plus Cruisin' Blast.
Plus Cruisin' Blast.
Plus Cruisin' Blast.
Yes, it's not on here, but it's on here.
All right, number
Okay,
10.
Number 10.
Oh, all right.
How is
Here we are
this
again.
so low on your list? I have a bone to pick with you.
Look, there's a lot of games. Again, I had 400 games to choose from. Is this even going to be on your list? We're going to have to find out.
But it's very low.
Maybe didn't even make honorable mention.
yours.
So we recently, a couple of months ago, revisited Super Metroid. We did a whole spoiler cast for that. Maybe some people check that out. And going into that, I was of the mind that Super Metroid is perfect, it's unassailable. Because a lot of people were saying, like, I actually like Metroid Dread better.
Yeah.
I think it's a better game. And I came out of that replay and that spoiler cast with a higher opinion of Metroid Dread. I think it's got an incredible, like, last couple hours. Like, the finale of that game is so, like, wow, a true
And the gameplay,
wow moment.
the mechanics are like so like tight and precise, and I don't know. I need Samus to have the melee counter forever.
In Prime 4, which seems to not be there.
I'm not sure that's going to be there, but I would.
Mouse melee?
Mouse melee.
Yeah?
This is where you throw a Joy-Con. Like,
Whoops.
the magnets won't save you if you
We
throw
got a
Joy-Con.
lot of wrist straps for you. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, that's why it was higher on my
So
list.
I actually feel like I'm due to replay Metroid Dread, and maybe retroactively it'll end up higher. But this is the list. We're locking
Remember
it in.
how hard it was for me to beat that final boss?
That final boss is hard.
You beat the final boss in like 2 tries.
No, it took me more than that, but it was tough.
But it took me like
it was
2
It was like a
weeks.
week for you. Yeah.
Oh, was it a week?
I don't know. It was,
I think
it was a long
every
time.
single day I was like, I got a little further.
Yeah.
I got a little
And you were
further.
talking about it's like your hand was like degenerating
I basically had like a claw for
from
a
the
hand.
from the gameplay.
And I was like, maybe, and then you were like, stop playing in handheld mode,
Yeah.
play with a Pro Controller. And I was like, I can't do it. I need
This
to play.
Joy-Con is ground into dust.
I'm like holding the Switch like this far away from my face.
You're like
as
4D
I-
drifting on the Joy-Con.
my Phantom Drift.
Yeah.
It did not help my
I don't know.
gameplay.
I think number 10 is a great. I think that's a great spot to be on.
Okay.
All the games on Nintendo Switch? Are you kidding
Okay.
me? Number 10 is great.
Okay.
It's higher than Cruisin' Blast.
Hyrule Warriors though, Age of Calamity.
Talk about that.
That's a great game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how is it that this game had more story and a better storytelling than
Oh, snaps in the back. I see snaps in the back.
for the story of Hyrule
There we
Warriors,
go.
Age of Calamity. And like a little shameful, Nintendo, that this game that is not even like a mainline Zelda game has a better story than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. How's that possible? How's that possible? Right?
Characters
So
that
good.
have facial expressions.
Yes, actual like backstory, deep character reveals.
This is my face as I recount the most traumatic moment of my life.
My best friend is turned into a dragon. I have no expression. But yeah, and the baby guardian.
Yes.
So cute. Love it. Okay, number 9. Are we ready?
Why is your box bigger than mine?
Are you ready? It's because it's European. Peggy 12.
Because your head is, that's what you said? Because your head is smaller? So you foolishly put this on a grid, and now I've noticed this.
Well,
and now I'm upset.
I am smaller than you, and so this has to
This
accurately
is a subliminal message, and I don't like it.
represent that in this,
Okay.
on this presentation.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Pokemon Unite and Ghost Trick.
Who has the better number 9? I think Krysta does.
this is
See? Yes.
this is actually a Nintendo DS game, but okay.
But I didn't
sure.
play it on the Nintendo DS. My first experience with this masterpiece of a game, whoever has not played Ghost Trick needs to immediately play this game, like literally right now. Leave this panel and play this game. Actually, don't leave the panel. Wait till 6 o'clock.
You just
and then
told him
go
to leave?
and play this game. Like, I don't know, I was like kicking myself hardcore that I had missed this game on DS originally, and of course, there's been so many people that have told me, oh my gosh, if you've never played this game before, you have to play it. When they announced it for Switch, it was like such a no-brainer. I'm a huge fan of these types of games. I don't want to say too much about it because the story is so mind-blowing. Like, I laughed, I cried. It was like ridiculous. So, yeah, stuck with me. I love this game.
Good. Pokemon Unite. Listen, we documented this on Nintendo Minute. You should watch those episodes. Oh wait, this was collectively our game of the year. What was that? 2021,
That's right.
I think.
Yeah.
like this was collectively our game of the year. Look, I don't play MOBAs. Like I think I one time installed like League of Legends and I was like, yeah, this isn't it.
You were just bad at it.
So I'll admit, like I'm a novice at this genre, but I thought this game was great at introducing me to the genre. I thought that like all the ways that the Pokemon were brought to life was very fun.
Right.
It has Machamp. I can prominently always play as Machamp,
true.
so I give it, a bump up for that.
4 thumbs up.
And they've done
Machamp arms.
They've done a really good job of keeping this game active. Like we check in on this, and every time I always have a good time. So yeah.
This is a big Kit and Krysta community game. Like we do these meetups every month with our community, and we just hang out and play games. And this comes up quite a lot as the game that we pick for those because it's like easy for people to jump in and play, even if you're not, super good at MOBAs. I mean, it's just always fun. And I really like I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. I really like their like little holiday skins and stuff like that they do. It's so cute, so good. What's not to love?
You want to talk about a game that could use a Switch 2 edition or a Switch 2 little bump in the, this is one. It's getting a little,
it's a little chuggy.
Especially the menus for some reason. The menus in particular, a little chuggy.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do a Switch 2 edition for this one.
Okay.
Okay, number
8. Oh.
Yeah. So this is a third-party game, at least one on the list of the top 10.
My Peggy 12 Hades?
Your Peggy 12.
It sure is.
But yeah, what you got to say about Hades?
So this was the other 2020 game, right?
Yes.
This and Animal Crossing were the big 2020 games. And, this was not a game that I was really following super close. It's like, it's super giant, like they always do great stuff. I'll definitely.
And they're also local. They're in our city, in San Francisco, which is really nice.
Did you get a personal invite to their office? Or like,
it was the pandemic, no.
What are you trying to say? I'm not sure.
We were at home.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay.
So no.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, this was just like immediately grabbed you. I had no clue like how sticky the game was of like, just keep doing these runs. I remember we had a big race to finish the game. It was like, who could finish the game?
I'm still mad at you for that.
What happened?
So we both were like trying to see who can finish it the fastest, and you ended up beating me, and you finished the game like late the night.
Like hours before you did?
It was like 11 p.m. and you texted me, you're like, I beat it. And I was like, oh, man. And I was like, I have to go to bed. Like, I can't keep playing this game. And so I went to bed, but I went to bed mad, like really mad. I was like pissed. I was like, I can't believe he beat this game before me. Like, oh, what a jerk. The next morning, I woke up in the morning and I like literally like grabbed, I was still in bed and I played it as soon as I woke up, and I beat the game.
You needed that motivation?
I needed the motivation.
You needed it.
I was like, your hands are all sweaty, towards the end of those runs.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I'm gonna drop the Switch. Like, this is how I'm gonna fail this game, is I'm like sweaty handing the Switch. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. Such
and
a great game.
Supergiant was like super, like they totally like gave us so much access. Like we did.
Yeah.
Like we did this video with Greg Kasavin that took hours, like a bracket, like ranking all the characters. One of our absolute favorite Nintendo Minute episodes. It was unfortunately one of the last ones. Was Darren Korb, who did all the music, gave us like a personal tour of his studio, like stuff that I still haven't really seen before. So kudos to them for just like being super open with all their stuff.
That was actually my favorite Nintendo Minute series. Was the one that we did with the team at Hades. I mean, it was literally like deep in the pandemic when we were doing stuff at home, and it was like hours on a video call, on a Zoom, trying to do these videos, and it was amazing to just hear how they made this game, how this game came together. It's so awesome that Hades 2 is coming to Switch 2. So that's great that we'll be able to, play the series again. So
I think Hades has become like a little underrated even. Like this absolutely could have been Game of the Year in 2020. I don't know. It feels like the buzz for Hades 2 is not quite there yet. It's still in early access. I played it, but it's pretty good.
I mean, we both played it.
Yeah.
We streamed it. It was good.
Thanks for the reminder. Pokemon.
Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is actually my favorite Pokemon game in like the last...
A long time.
A long time.
Not Sword and Shield?
No. I don't like it.
It's not Sword and Shield?
I don't like, I think I was out on mainline Pokemon since Pokemon Go. Pokemon Let's Go. Is that considered mainline? Maybe not.
No. You like Sun and Moon is what you
Sun
said.
and Moon is my last favorite mainline.
Okay.
And then I stopped liking them because it was bad. These games were not good. But the Legends games are great. Well, this one was great.
The one we played.
This one was great. This one like made me re-fall in love with Pokemon. I was like, oh my gosh, they're like changing up the formula. This is so much fun. Like the exploration is so good. Like this setting that they had us in is so interesting. Like this doesn't feel, it feels like fresh and new. And I was like, okay, I can get back in. And then Scarlet and Violet came out and I was like, back to this? Oh no.
I played Sword and Shield. I actually kind of like Sword and Shield. I thought it was pretty decent. I was like, all right, well, this series is slowly modernizing, slowly going somewhere. But then this game came out. It's like, oh my gosh, like look at what Game Freak can actually do if you kind of take the reins off and give them a bit more freedom to do some cool stuff. And yeah, maybe had some technical issues here and there, but like just
the core idea.
The core ideas were so good and so there. It's like it really gives me a lot of hope for ZA.
Yes.
When we finally get our hands on that, and it frankly did hurt my feelings towards
Scarlet
and Violet, and just like the mainline game. It's like there's so many things in these now that feel even more antiquated than they did before I played this game. It's like just take a little bit more of these fresher ideas. And I know like there's so many like Pokemon purists that are out there that maybe wouldn't like that, but for me, this is more of what I'm looking for in a Pokemon game right now.
I'm looking forward to ZA. I'm cautiously optimistic though, because I know there's been just some challenges, let's say, that they're working through here, but I really hope that this Legends path for them is like the one that they're going to be, getting those fresh ideas out there, being more innovative, not feeling like they're really tied down. Because I get it, they're probably trying to balance that like, this is the core DNA of Pokemon, and if we stray too far from that, is that even a Pokemon game anymore? But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by Arceus, and I really hope that that we see that in ZA as well. And also potato mochis. We were obsessed.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I need this.
Obsessed with potato mochis for like 3 months. We're like, how do I get this? How do I make this? How do I get this? We were obsessed. Anyways, yes. Number 7.
Oh, what do you know? There it is.
I guess you liked it a little bit more than me.
What else do I have to say about that? Actually, nothing. Okay, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, though. Mario Kart is a game that I've played for the entire Switch and Wii U.
Over 10 years, literally more than 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
It's gonna feel so weird. Like Mario Kart 8, I feel like is like just so tied to Switch. It's gonna feel so weird to let both of those things go and go to a Switch 2 and move on to Mario Kart World. It's like literally like your 2 children that you're just like, bye, go to college.
You don't have to. Cancel the pre-order.
No,
keep playing this.
I won't. I shan't.
What if I told you?
What if I told you? Yeah, but it just feels like Nintendo Switch wouldn't be Nintendo Switch without Mario Kart.
What would a Wii U be then?
That's in the trash, so who cares? But yeah, it's weird to think about like one single game that has lasted the entire life of a system, and then like one that we played, like we pretty much never stopped playing this game.
No, that's the best compliment I
Like,
could give it.
amazing.
Like, I've got hundreds of hours in Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
And I never got tired of it over these 10 years.
Right.
And I think also like over our time working in the industry, like there's a couple of games that give you like a really like strong feeling the first time you see them, like this visceral like, oh, this is gonna be something big. This is cool. This is special.
Yeah.
Like seeing 8 on the Wii U even, I was like, oh, this is pretty great.
Yeah.
In terms of the next Mario Kart game.
Totally.
So yeah, I think this is really a deserving includee on the list, even though it is originally a Wii U game. Yeah.
Big shoes to fill, Mario Kart World. Oh boy, the expectations are very high. So we'll see what happens.
75 million and 1 units. That's how many they're gonna sell.
They're gonna make more money, that's for sure. Mario Kart 80 Deluxe. Okay, number 6.
Number 6. More thoughts on Hades?
No more thoughts on Hades, but what
No.
about your thoughts on Smash?
Where's Smash on your list?
It's not.
Oh!
I'm sorry, I can't.
So I think,
put this on my list.
so I'll share
I'm
a thought.
traumatized.
So I think we have a similar experience with Smash Brothers, where, well, at least coming into it is a little bit different. I love Smash Brothers.
Yeah, you were huge.
Like I
Smash
started
fan.
with Smash on the N64. I had so many like really special moments, like with my friends growing up, of like just long nights, all-nighters playing Smash Brothers. But
You still do that with your friends.
I still do when we
Right.
get together. Like we're breaking out Smash Brothers. But there was something. Almost all the games that we worked on, it was like being involved in it from a professional capacity. Like the grind of it did not hurt my appreciation for it, and in a lot of cases, it helped me love these games even more.
Yeah.
I think there's something about Smash Brothers that was a little bit different,
Yep.
where working on it hurt my feelings about Smash Brothers
Yeah.
a little bit. And I think it was, I am on the side of Smash Brothers as a party game, because again, like when it was those late nights, it was like, we were not turning off the items, it was not one-on-one. And like the focus that we had like on the more competitive side on Smash Brothers, I was like, this isn't really the way that I like to enjoy the game. And it's just like, just seeing it push so hard in that direction. I know you can still do it, but there was something about it. It's like, I don't have the same feeling that I did before.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sad, honestly.
This is a sad one for me because, yeah, I do, you know, as a party game, as a game that I would like dabble with my friends, it's great. But after working on it, and I worked on it for so long too. It was
You really did. It was years.
It was like 2.5 years. And then finally I was like, I cannot.
You were on that Sakurai grind.
I was on the Sakurai grind, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I had to like tell like our highest level boss, and I pleaded with her. I was like, please take me off this game. I cannot do this anymore. And it was like just probably the most challenging thing I ever did, you know, at Nintendo. The game is so big and so important. The pressure of working on this game was like insane. And working with Sakurai, it was amazing, but he is a perfectionist and he expects everybody on that team to be as perfect as he is. And it's like, no one can be as perfect as you are.
And he could do everybody's job along the way. He could do that job. And he's looking at him, he's like, look, I became a YouTuber. I became a great YouTuber. Let me tell you how to do YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be in the line at the GameStop. Let me tell you a thing or two.
I won a national award for this, actually, so go away. Yeah, so the pressure was really tough for me, and then those leaks, oh man.
We were recounting. So when again, it's been a few years since we came to Boston. When we got off the plane, I was like, oh, I remember this terminal. I remember we've been here before, and you're like, no, I don't remember, I can't remember it. I was like, wait, no, like, let me tell you this, that, and you were like, oh, wait. This is where I freaked out when Terry Bogard leaked.
Yeah.
So you had erased it from your mind.
My brain was trying to help me, you know, like cope with it.
Yes.
By
We're flushing the bad memories.
It was making me forget.
Yeah.
And then I was like, then I had like a thing like hit me, like wash over me, like the trauma. I was like, oh, I remember.
Yeah.
It was when Terry Bogard leaked, I got this insane email that was basically like yelling an email in many different languages. And I was like, oh no.
Why'd you do it, Krysta?
But it was like we were boarding the flight. And so you were like,
stew
let's
on
go.
that for 6 hours.
Let's go. Put your phone away. And I was like, hey, what do I do? What do I do? Who do I call? What do I do? And you were like, you have no time to call anybody. Just get on the plane. And then I had to deal with it when I got back home. 6 hours later, and that was rough. After PAX, that was rough.
Yes.
So
Complicated feelings.
that is why
Yes.
Smash is not on my list.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Oh, we've already talked about these games.
Much higher.
Well, what else do you want to say?
Well, it's really good.
Is this better than Super Metroid?
Maybe.
Great answer. Great definitive
I'm
answer.
still shocked that it was not higher on your list.
Why?
Especially because we were just talking about this game. I was shocked to see it at
I just
10.
said I'm ready for a replay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, a lot of Switch games out there.
You want to say more about this?
It's higher than Cruisin' Blast?
Okay, fine.
Oh!
Okay, all right.
Wow! Oh, a round of applause.
Round of applause.
Finally, a good take. Yes, we found it. Yes. We got to keep this energy.
I should have made our portraits upside down for this slide. Now I regret that. Okay. Yes.
We both have the RP.
Well, I just copy and paste
You could have given yourself the Peggy.
the 0. Wow. This game was incredible. Amazing.
I mean, there's still stuff I haven't done in this game.
You didn't even finish all three paths.
No, I think that's what's so like amazing about it is like you can experience it all these different ways,
Yes.
and you know so many things can play out differently, and you can have a completely different experience. I do still like the Edelgard team.
That's right.
The most.
We both did start with
We did that
Edelgard,
first, yes, and then you did after that.
I did.
You did Claude.
Claude.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a DLC for it too that
Oh, yeah.
The Black Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. I just remember working on this game and pleading with.
Oh, you got spoiled.
Well, I tried not to, but I pleaded with our favorite Treehouse person, Chico, who you guys might remember from Treehouse Lives, where she lit everything on fire. Gotta love Chico, but she loved to spoil me on Fire Emblem. I think that she was doing it.
Well, she got spoiled. So she's like, who can I pass this
She
on
was
to?
revenging.
Yeah.
She was avenging
She was
herself.
revenge spoiling, yes.
Yes, and she would just call me up. She would literally call me up and be like, hey, guess what happens? I'm like, don't tell, can you?
Click.
I'm like, I'm gonna hang up on you. And I would tell her, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm working on this game. Can I be straight with you? Can we just not spoil things that is not relevant to the job? Like, give me the information I need to do the job, but don't give me the extra stuff. Like, I feel like I can do the job without getting
Nope, here's
spoiled.
the ending.
And then she was like, nope, here's the ending. Here's what's gonna happen. I was like, come on. I'm so mad.
Yeah, I think, you know, Engage did not really do it for us in terms of like the next big.
I mean, you still played it.
We played it, but it did not hit the same way. So
I
think-
was really holding out hope for a new Fire Emblem game on Switch 2, but
still time.
alas, we need to wait.
The system's not even out yet.
We
There's
need to-
still time.
Is it coming this year? But I think we're due for another one of these like big, meaty, you know, mainline Fire Emblem games.
We have people in our community who swear by genealogy
Genealogy?
of the Holy War. They claim every time there's a Nintendo Direct, this is the one, here comes the remake. We're still waiting.
It's never coming
When's it
out.
gonna happen?
You cursed it.
I don't know.
You cursed it.
I'll play that next.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I'm ready. I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next like wow Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
So, okay, next.
Number 3. What's going on here? What's going on? The same.
Yeah, the same. I mean, you have to put this is high on the list. This got us.
Speaking
through,
of 2020.
this got us through like actual real life problems in 2020. Like, who played Animal Crossing and was like less sad in 2020? Who celebrated the world's saddest birthday in 2020? March 28th.
My birthday's on March 28th.
March 28th. And it was like, you know, a week after the office shut down. Everybody was at home. No one could. You could not go any. You couldn't see anyone.
No.
And
I woke up, I got my little Animal Crossing birthday cake, and I think a single tear rolled down my face.
I think we all there was a group of us
We had
that
to get
went
together,
into
yes,
we went
we did.
into the game
We
and
did.
we like we decorated your house but that was all you could do.
Yeah.
That was your only like lifeline to human connection
Right.
was Animal Crossing. And I have another great memory of like all of the Nintendo people on our team. We were all lonely and you know going through it at the time, and we would play Animal Crossing like into the night. And I remember during those shooting star nights, we would like literally fall asleep with our games, and then the next morning you wake up and be like disconnected. Like, oh, did we just leave the gates open for these like shooting star nights? But yeah, it was the only way we got through it, you know. And it was like we did those Nintendo Minute videos in Animal Crossing.
You just said, hey, you just declared that Hades was your favorite Nintendo Minute, so you can say now that this was actually your favorite.
They're all my favorites. They're all my babies.
Yeah, I mean, if this game had not come out then, like I literally don't know what we could have done for Nintendo Minute for a while we were figuring things out. Like it could have been like a couple months of like, how are we going to do this? Because you know we just needed. And then after that, people were like, oh well, what's the next game that you can do that kind of thing in? Like, why don't you do it in Miitopia? And it's like that's not really.
I don't want
that's
to.
not really how it works.
That game is not good.
Yeah. First of all, no.
Second of all, no.
Second of all, also no.
Recreating the Nintendo Minute Studio in Animal Crossing was very therapeutic for me.
That's amazing.
Because it was like I missed it. It was like a part of our job that we actually really looked forward to. And you know that the work at Nintendo is very stressful. It's very high pressure, like we were saying. And Nintendo Minute was always like this little like safe place where we could kind of relax a little bit, take a breath, and just like remember how fun playing games were, you know? So it was really tough during the pandemic when they were like, you literally cannot do this. There's one thing in your job that actually was like a nice experience. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to have Animal Crossing to do that in.
What is your percentage confidence that your island will successfully transfer to your Switch 2?
2%.
Oh no!
I think it will transfer. I have the island transfer tool. Do I need to use that again?
I don't know. I've got a month to read up on it.
I remember when we got OLEDs, we had to do that island transfer, and I called Kyogoku-san. I was like, are you sure this works? Because if my island is not there, I'm coming after you. And she was like, it's gonna work, don't worry. I'm like, okay, I trust you. How many toilets will they have in the new Animal Crossing game?
Well, that's what they're working on.
Yeah, that's why it takes them so long to make these.
Got to perfect a toilet.
Gold toilets, Toto toilets.
Yeah.
Different kinds
Robot
of urinals.
toilets, yes.
Yeah, toilets.
Number 2. What?
Yeah, these next few. I mean.
Well, we'll talk.
What? You have something to say?
So Mario Odyssey, I think, is a game that I have appreciated a lot more as the years have gone by, and I've had a chance to revisit it a few times. Like, no, this is actually. I claim, I swear by Super Mario 64, and my memories for that are very special because I played it in the moment. I think Mario Odyssey is like up there. I think as like that good or my next favorite 3D Mario game.
Sometimes I think about this game and I'm like, how did they do it? How did they get those Cappy mechanics to be so good?
Bring back Cappy. We need Cappy back.
We do need Cappy.
Cappy's amazing.
Cappy
what a great character.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes. Cheers for
Give it
Cappy.
up for Cappy.
Give it up for Cappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that team is just so incredible, and there are so many things in this game that I think about. I'm like, gosh, like how did they do it? There was moments in that game where we had like tears of joy when we had the great, New Donk City Jump Up Superstar celebration where you literally saw your life flash before your eyes during that part of the game because it like summarized your entire childhood growing up and loving Mario in that moment. It was incredible. So yeah, I mean, again, where's the next 3D Mario and can they top this? That's my question. Big shoes to fill.
Hope you like bananas.
Hope you like bananas.
But yeah, again, I talked about like my appreciation of it going up over time because again, this came out in 2017, the same year we got Breath of the Wild. It's like, oh my gosh, we just got the best game ever, and then it's like, oh, what?
And
we
just
have like this
ever.
other this is also going to be the next best game on this system for the rest of the whole time.
Yeah.
How did they do that? That's incredible.
That lineup is 2017 lineup. Oh man, the book ending of Breath of the Wild.
You had people dancing in the streets in New York doing to the song and.
Yeah. That was pretty fun.
Writing the music for Jump Up Superstar.
Yes.
For Jeff Keighley's orchestra to play for 30 seconds.
That's right.
And all this.
No, they played the whole song.
They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore. The singer was trying on that dress. I tried on that dress. The dress, the Pauline dress.
Why were you trying on the Pauline dress?
Because it was in the ad, and the ad team gave it to me.
Wait. So
there are photos. I will put them in
the dress from the commercial.
Yes.
Is the dress that the singer at the Game Awards wore.
Yes, I was in charge.
And you also wore it.
I was in charge of bringing the dress to her, but then of course I tried it on, obviously, because it was pretty nice.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, she was her and I were like maybe around the same size because it fit me and it fit her. So there you go. Yeah. We had, during the launch event for Odyssey, stealthily, the dev team was there, even though
they showed up.
They were not. They were like, we're here on vacation.
Yeah, they had no they were not invited. They had no professional reason to go.
No, they were like, we're just gonna come.
The guy flew to New York. He was like undercover. He had like one of those like glasses with a mustache.
He was incognito.
Right.
But he was like, I'm here, and I was like, do you want to take a photo like in front of the thing? But he was like, I just wanted to see this. I was like so excited to see this, and I was like, do I need to help you with anything? He's like, no, I'm just here to observe. I'm like, okay.
Just hanging out.
It was amazing.
Awesome.
All right.
Well,
here we go. Drum rolls.
There's more than one big game that we don't have on our list yet. So either there's some sort of a major omission on your part, or I don't really know what's going to happen next.
It's also kind of a cheater number one.
Oh!
Both of these games. Shock. No Astro Train. Sorry.
Longtime listeners of the podcast will know that I have been grouping these games together for a long time.
I know.
And you just ripped me off.
Well, anything for me to get an extra game on here, I'm like, I'll do it.
Honorable mention? Cruise and Blast.
Honorable mention, Breath of the Wild.
1A.
I mean, if you had to pick, though.
It's Breath of the Wild. Yes, it's well documented.
Yes,
and
mine is Tears of the Kingdom.
I think the special feeling, so you prefer Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild. Interesting.
Even though I'm bad at that game.
Right.
But I still prefer it more.
No, I mean, if I had to separate them, I think Tears of the Kingdom would be in probably the top 3, so still extremely good. But I don't know, for me personally, it's hard to unlink these games.
It's very hard to
So I was like, why not just put them together.
One could not exist without the other, you know?
Right.
It's like everyone's like, oh, this is built on the foundation of Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was like this groundbreaking game. Like they have to be talked about in the same conversation. So we talked about how Smash Ultimate was a very hard game for me, and it basically traumatized me so much that I couldn't even put it on a top 10 list. This had the opposite effect on you.
Yes.
Working on Breath of the Wild, I think, only made you fall in love with this game more.
So I talked about getting that feeling with Mario Kart. This is the number one game that gave me that feeling. I'm like, oh, we're about to change gaming forever.
Yeah.
Which is why it's hilarious that when we were getting ready for that E3, there were people who were like, this game's gonna bomb. What? Did we see the same game?
Did we play the same game? Because I almost cried and I got goosebumps. What game did you play?
Yeah, I mean, even today, all these years later, that game feels like it's from the future. There are things in that game that other games cannot do in the same way. Feelings that game give you, the games do not give you. And that's absolutely such a memory of coming to that PAX in 2017 of playing that game, just screenshotting everything, the vistas, it's incredible. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Getting a chance to spend so much time with the developers.
Yes.
Who are absolutely, yes, they're next level geniuses, but just the kindest.
They're so nice, yeah.
Just just the most kind, authentic, amazing people that are just fun to hang out with. They're just a good hang,
We will always root for the Zelda team because they are super great people.
Yeah, they're just amazing people. And you can be, genius at your craft, but be a jerk. But, they were just wonderful all around. And I think getting a chance to know that team and be part of that experience is probably the highlight of the old career at Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there are a lot of personal experiences that kind of influence what the list was, but that's how you come up with a list like this. So that's our list, yeah.
That's it, yes. What do you guys think? Pretty okay? Yeah?
It's perfect.
No one wants to throw a tomato? No one has a hot take, okay. Good, well, I'm glad we came to this collective top 10 list. Thanks, everyone.
And we're back.
Oh, boy.
We are so back.
Are we?
My question, why did you copy me? That's my question. Why did you copy me?
What do you mean? You copied me.
Doing the double Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild in the number 1, that's how I knew there was some
chicanery
happening.
I'm not gonna give up on having an extra game up there.
And you didn't even want to do honorable mentions.
I just want to eke in one more game.
That you're just cramming games in here.
Those games do seem better as a pair.
You wouldn't even let me put Cruise and Blast as an honorable mention.
I was done making the deck.
Terrible. It's terrible.
The deck is closed.
Whatever. We asked our Patreon subscribers to also share their top games. So it's just a top 5.
You didn't even give them 10.
I let them do a top 5.
All right.
So we got so many responses. This is one of our most responded questions that we've ever done. And people had different takes on it. Let's see what people said. Christian Nordstrom, number 1, Breath of the Wild. Number 2, Mario Wonder. Number 3, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 4, Mario Party Superstars. And number 5, Super Mario Odyssey. And Christian said, well, I think I like Tears more than Breath of the Wild, the absolute magic that the game had, especially since it was the fresh new Zelda step. There hasn't been anything like it for me in a long time. If there was a single game I wish I could forget to play again, it would be that.
Yep, me too.
Also, fun side note, I only put Wonder above Odyssey because Wonder came out while I was on a trip to New York, which was new to me, and I got to go to the Nintendo store there for the first time. So it was special buying an awesome game from the official store.
Wow, that's fun.
Everybody's list is obviously informed by, there's
Their
the
own
games.
personal life memories.
Right, and their own merits, but the life experiences that they had
That's so
around
cool.
them.
I love that.
Call sign Forte says, the Switch is the system that not only got myself back into gaming, it coincided with my children reaching an age that they could start playing. So there's a great deal of nostalgia associated with the Switch. My top 5 are, number 1, Octopath Traveler, over 800 hours. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Breath of the Wild, 500 hours. Octopath Traveler 2, 200 hours. Dang. Pokemon Sword. And number 5, Pokemon Violet, which received a lot of hate for good reason, but after some initial patches, it's actually a phenomenal game with the best story I have played in a Pokemon game.
Nice.
Also, shout out to all the incredible smaller indie games, including the only game to ever make me ugly cry, A Star Named Eos. We're going to have to look, that one up.
I definitely
ugly cried. Krista is ready to ugly cry again.
I ugly cried in all those indie games I listed, like a lot, for like days, weeks.
And lastly, Echo Ladare. In order, I'd say my top 5 are number 1, Breath of the Wild, number 2, Tears of the Kingdom, number 3, Xenoblade 2, number 4, Xenoblade 3, and number 5, Smash Ultimate. Both Zelda games I have spent by far the most time in and are also my 2 favorite games of all time. Xenoblade is a very close second all around because of the really in-depth and engaging gameplay and the story of both games being extremely deep and moving. And Smash is the obvious choice, I feel, for any Nintendo fan. The initial hype around the game in the first few months and the constant speculation for new characters and changes for older ones. And then, after release, the DLC and community involvement kept the game mainstream for a long time and should be in the conversation for one of the best Nintendo games ever.
Whoa.
Wow. Whoa. So much variety in these lists. Very interesting to see. Because it's like, well, everybody's going to have Zelda or Mario Odyssey or something. But no. Octopath Traveler, 800 hours.
800 hours.
Can't argue with that.
And 200 hours in Octopath Traveler 2.
You can't. It's 1,000 hours of octopathing. My gosh.
That's
wow.
a lot of hours.
Incredible
That's
a lot
of hours. Incredible stuff.
But yeah, I mean, it's fair to say Nintendo Switch did change our lives in so many positive ways. I don't know. I don't know if we would be here now today if we had the experience, if we did not have the experiences that came of being a part of that. So
it's all a beautiful fabric.
Yes.
Woven in the mystical loom of life.
Thank you, Nintendo Switch.
Thank you, Switch. Okay.
Let's talk about the games we're playing. This is a lot of stuff that we played at PAX East. A couple games that are coming to the Switch 2, but we did not play them on the Switch 2. Yes. We had a really nice meeting with Marvelous.
We did. We wanted to get a little tighter with Marvelous for a while, so this is great to meet them in person and play these games.
So we first played Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, which honestly, Rune Factory is a game that I think we've both been kind of intrigued by for a while, but it always kind of we always miss our chance to play it.
Yeah, it's always like, oh, it's coming out right when another big game is coming out, so I need to allocate time for the other one.
I forget which one came before this one, but I remember like we
saw it in a Nintendo Direct, and
we were like, this close. I'm like, oh, this is the one. We're going to do this one.
Yeah.
And then chatting to them, like I was like, I know this series has been going for a while, and I went back and looked, like, oh, it started on the DS? It's been around for that long.
It's been around for a long time.
Oh my gosh. But back then they were positioning it as like a fantasy Harvest Moon, like almost like a spin-off of Harvest Moon, where you have the farming, of course, and all of the kind of, city building elements and the relationship elements of Harvest Moon, but then also you go out on these adventures.
Right.
And you hit things with a sword and you cast magic.
Yes, you have combat. Like pretty good combat.
Yeah. So you played this one.
I did.
What were your takeaways of playing this?
I really liked it. I think that it's nice to have both sides of that coin of like the village building, the relationships, the more like kind of farm sim, city builder aspect of it, with the combat, you know, because
Yes.
sometimes you feel like I need to change it up a little
Right.
bit, or like
What is the cycle of
what
this
is
game?
the cycle?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like the combat really does have like an effect on you gathering materials, you doing, you know, it kind of has like a bit of a cause and effect in terms of how you progress through this game. So I really like that because sometimes I love a life sim, farm sim kind of game, but like you can only farm a carrot for so many weeks and months. You know, you need some other event
Yeah.
to make it feel like, okay, I gotta go back and do this, you know,
Right,
to make it feel
and this
good.
one has more of like a fantasy,
Yeah.
kind of like feudal Japan almost look to it, which
does, yeah.
which I found quite nice. I thought the game, like, I wouldn't say it's going to be like the best looking game on the Switch 2, but
Yes.
it looked really nice
It's really pretty
to me. Like
yeah.
we were playing on a high end PC. But I can't imagine it'll be that different on a Switch 2. And yeah, like I really do appreciate like that variety of things that you're doing because I feel like the stuff in the town could eventually get a little bit stale.
Yes.
And the action looked good. I mean, a game like that, you could worry like, well, it might be a little bit clunky because this game's doing so many other things. But from what I could tell, it looked pretty smooth.
It was actually really smooth, and there was a lot of customization as well. You can use a lot of different kinds of weapons.
Yeah.
You could use spells. There's specials. There are, you know, AoE attacks. I did a proper dungeon plus boss fight, and it was like really fun and challenging, and felt grand, and felt like a proper boss fight. And you have a party with you, and they're based on the relationships that you have with the people in your village, and they have a lot of dialogue that they're, you know, the game had even like a little bit of platforming and verticality that we were noticing. You could climb,
they were saying that,
you could explore, you know, sort of vertically and around. It felt really good. And we also heard that some of the building stuff, like if you want to, you know, pull up a menu to build stuff, like you can use the mouse for that.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
really
really
fun.
nice.
Like that is exactly what I want to hear when it comes to these Switch 2 games. Is like, what have you done to kind of utilize all the different opportunities on the system to make it easier for me? Like, imagine if we had ability to do that with that clunky Echoes of Wisdom menu. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So even like little things, maybe it's not like the mouse controls are like the way to control this game, but like what a great quality of life thing that you could just add in there. And if it's easy to switch between the controls and go into mouse mode to do your, you know, your point and click and your building, like that sounds great to me.
I believe this is also coming to the original Switch, so that's one nice thing. Obviously, it'll look better, but I you know, we've seen enough of these games where they can really chug. Because it's like, well, I've customized, I've added these buildings, I've got these plants that are growing. Like we've seen those types of games get a little bit bogged down, technically. So I think that might be.
I mean, even our Animal Crossing.
Well,
that's why we stopped.
I'm starting there on my list.
That's why we stopped playing Animal Crossing. Honestly, is because it towards the end.
Several minutes of load times.
We used to check in like every single day, but the load times got so bad that it was so hard to do that kind of quick 15 minutes.
It's not something they were proactively addressing, but just in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's another nice little perk of being able to have this on the Switch too. It should remain a very snappy experience. So I'm gonna call it now. I think this is going to be the game that I'm going to, in that vacation that I mentioned, where I've got a long flight ahead of me. I think that's where I'm going to get started on Rune Factory.
Because you were like, how many hours of Mario Kart can I play on an airplane?
Right. I mean, at that point, I might be Mario Karted out.
You might have already unlocked
a month straight
everything already, and you might want something else. And this game is just relaxing enough to like dabble, play on the plane. And then like
take your time with it. Also,
you can kind of like dabble around.
I don't think this is a game that you can like rush through.
Right, you're not supposed to.
Right.
But it's also not like, you don't need to have so much attention on it where if you like...
My crops, though.
Well, but take care of them. Water them.
Well, that takes attention.
Well, not so much. Where you can't pause for a ginger ale.
Okay.
You can't pause for like a snack, a savory snack. Which
a
is
salty snack.
Which is
a sodium snack.
Which is what I like.
That's your snack of choice, I learned, just on an airplane.
Salted pretzels that are also salted again with seasoning.
Just give me this brick of MSG, please. Thank you very much.
So delicious. Umami.
Lick it like a horse.
Umami. Mommy.
So after that,
yes. After that,
you can. I didn't play anything. This was all you. I watched.
didn't want to.
You
You were
played
like, play.
Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar.
Yes,
which
I did.
So we learned this is kind of a remake.
It is.
Of a previous Story of Seasons game,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a bit of explanation. I still would love the full story of this. Harvest Moon became Story of Seasons. There was some sort of handoff of the original
Yes.
developers from Natsume to Marvelous, but
Yes.
Natsume they still own the Harvest Moon name.
Correct.
And they're still making Harvest Moon games with a different team.
That's right.
I need the behind the scenes, unfiltered oral history of this.
This all
Because it
happened.
seems
2 a.m. at an izakaya.
I really would love to know this.
Over many.
I mean, there just aren't
cups of
a
sake.
lot of examples of this happening. But this is again, if you like those older Harvest Moon games that
This
are
is
on
the
like
original
NSO,
Harvest
this
Moon.
is the real deal of what that became.
Yes.
And what was the last one? You have some experience
Yes.
with
both, with Harvest Moon and
what was the
Story of
last Story of Seasons?
It must have been
or even what system was that on?
Probably 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely. I don't think I played a Story of Seasons on Switch. So
Yeah.
it would be 3DS.
All
Would be
right.
the last one.
All right.
Yeah. But Grand Bazaar is a remake of, I think a DS.
I'll look it up.
game?
You
I'm
keep,
pretty
you
sure
keep
it's a
talking.
DS game.
All right.
And yeah, this game is really interesting because it does have a lot of the Harvest Moon sensibilities of building your house, farming, the cute animals,
Right.
the mini
The big
game.
cow. The big fat cow.
The cow that I
Yes.
immediately ran to and petted and milked because it was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And I, really liked sort of the little mini games that you have within the game as well. Like we did a little bit of the horse racing. We did. Is it DS?
DS. Yes.
That's what I thought.
I'm trying
That's
to
what I
find the
thought.
year next.
Yeah.
2008.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's
Early
yeah.
days. Early days.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Now it's looking very familiar to me. I'm looking at your screen right now. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of little mini games that you can do to kind of, let to grow and train your animals. But the core game loop for this game is that you are trying to make your town, put your town back on the map by building this really big bazaar. And the idea is you are getting your crops or getting materials to sell at the bazaar, and then you kind of work towards the cycle of a bazaar day, which happens once a week. And you basically get ready for the bazaar day, get your little booth ready, get all your stuff ready, your goods that you're going to sell. You've spent a week making your items, turning your crops into certain things to sell, and then you go to the bazaar day, and that's your big day to sell.
Look at this.
stuff.
This was before the handoff. So this was Harvest Moon DS Grand Bazaar.
There you go.
Before Story of Seasons.
But there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. But yeah, it's a fun game loop. Really fun because you kind of have a goal every week that you're trying to get to. And during the bazaar days, there is this very cute little thing where you ring a bell and you have to have a sales pitch and
I like that.
display your items in a way where people are interested in getting it from you.
You were running the little stand.
You're running the little stand. Yeah.
I like that. That was a cool.
It was really cute. It's really fun.
Super cute. What more is there to say? Put it on the box.
The little models are cute too. The little sprites and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
You can romance them.
You can romance
you can
them.
you can do it all.
You can.
Great.
Marriage candidates.
Yes.
Yes.
On the flight back, I continued to play a copious amount of Broforce.
I played a little bit with you too, but it was so tiny, it was a little hard for us.
It isn't. Yeah, you can play that game multiplayer. I think up to 4 players, which is cool, but I wouldn't recommend it in Switch tabletop mode because
too small.
your character is pretty small to begin with, and it's a game where it's like a one-hit kill. So you do need to see what's happening, and there can be a lot happening on the screen. So
yeah, we kept getting exploded randomly because we couldn't see the little pixel barrels that were
right. So maybe do that one on a big TV if you want.
But you unlocked a bunch of bros.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say this game could come off as a joke of oh, it's just a gag, and they're
Gameplay is actually really fun.
Having fun with all of these action movies that they've done these parody versions of. But no, like this is like a legit, like really good game. And yeah, like now I'm several hours into it, and like the difficulty has really ramped up.
Yeah.
There were some of those levels that I had to do
failing many
like
times.
a half dozen times. There is like a high degree of skill to getting through it, but also there is also a bit of randomness because every time you save one of those hostages, you become one of the new bros.
And all their attacks are like
and they're
different.
all really different. So, for example, like the Men in Black, Will Smith, like he has the gun that shoots like a short distance and then it explodes. So that's good, just having like area of effect. But oftentimes there'll be like exploding barrels that can do collateral damage to you. So you need to be a bit careful. But then another character that I got is Keanu Reeves' Neo from The Matrix, and he just very quickly punches. And he has no real distance attack to speak of, but he's very powerful up close. And I just keep unlocking characters. Like
Indiana Jones.
We got Time Cop. We got Van Damme, Time Cop.
Pants on.
With pants on, probably European underwear under those pants.
Yes.
So you can imagine it. That's nice.
Banana hammock.
But it just keeps going. So this game is also like frequently on deep sale. Like I think I bought it on Steam first, and then I bought it on Switch because it was like $2. Like, well, I might as well get this again.
It's awesome.
So again, I just want to like vouch for this game. This game is not a joke. Like this game is legit solid.
I played it too, and it is very good.
Yes. But now that we're back, every moment of our time is going back to our wonderful Claire Obscure, which again is a spoiler cast game for the month. How very carefully can we talk about this? I think we're both getting into the home stretch, maybe?
Maybe. It's hard to tell how much longer. It seems ending-ish, but who knows?
Right.
We were both a little nervous coming back. Well, we were both very sad to leave this game for almost 4 days, when we went to PAX, and then coming back, we were both a little nervous too. We were like, oh gosh, are we going to remember how to play this game? And this is one of those games where, especially in the combat, it's very like tiny.
You need the rhythm.
Based. So you have to remember like the rhythm of how to block and dodge and parry and all that stuff. And I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, did I lose my touch? But I think we were both okay.
It went better than I thought it would actually.
Yes, it did. And I came back to, I had left before like the next big sort of boss battle. And I was kind of nervous that I was going to like really have a hard time, but I was okay. I did pretty good. And yeah, this game continues to be quite mysterious. We have now written down some story predictions and then like kind of put it away in a virtual time capsule. And we're going to read out those predictions in the spoiler cast.
Of what we think the story is going, because we still don't know. Like, they've been dropping some breadcrumbs, but we don't have a clue. And unlike, you know me, like, I'm not often motivated by the story in games. Like, at this point, like, I'm almost entirely motivated to find out, like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I need to know.
I need to know.
Yeah.
I really need to know. And after I locked in my time capsule prediction, a few other things happened, and I was like,
oh. That were correct or not correct regarding your... I don't know what your prediction is. You don't have to say it. You shouldn't say it. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Yes, I left off. I'm in like a multi-boss, like several back-to-back bosses. It's the worst timing that can be because tonight is the final episodes of Andor.
You have to watch all three.
And I'm like, I feel like I need to watch. I feel like my chances of getting spoiled on Andor
are high.
In the day it comes out are higher versus Claire Obscure, which has now been out for a couple weeks. Right. I feel like if I was going to get spoiled, it might have happened.
We also watched, this is a little aside, but we binged the last, because they dropped 3 episodes at a time for Andor.
Right.
And because we were on that long flight, we binged like 3 episodes at once.
That was really fun.
And actually I really like that experience, so now I'm binging the rest of these tonight.
I know, it's a tough choice, I'm going to do that.
I'm going to have to do that.
I'm probably not going to have time to play tonight, which is
Don't sleep at all.
Which is a bummer, because I really want to get back.
Tomorrow's work from home day.
To this game.
You can just wake up late.
This is why people have to go back to the office, because of stuff you're doing on a podcast.
Butts in seats.
Because of stuff you're doing on a podcast.
I'm my own boss. I get to make my own schedule.
All right.
I'll get the work done. But I'm just saying, you don't have to drive in. That's 30 minutes of sleeping right there.
Wow.
He'll watch 3 hours of Andor and then play 3 hours of Claire Obscure and then go to bed at 3 a.m.
And get 30 more minutes of sleep.
Well, let's see.
Perfect.
You start watching Andor at like 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1. Go to bed at 1. That's not bad.
All right.
It's not, you're
I mean,
like
might as well
so
just
out.
cancel this podcast and go watch an Andor or something.
We already recorded the
We might
podcast.
as
and
well.
the podcast is out.
Or what are we doing now then? Nani?
What? Why don't you like my schedule? I think it's a great schedule.
We're moving on.
Stop eating and sleeping and just play video games and watch TV.
We're moving on to the news. Something we missed whilst we were away
Monies?
was the Nintendo financials. You know, this is something we'll often do like a whole video on, going in depth, but we were in Boston eating a cannoli, so we couldn't find the time. But let's take a look at what happened. This was for the full fiscal year, mind you.
Yes, it's for fiscal year
end of
FY25.
March to March. Right. And as you probably could have seen coming, the numbers are down this year. In some cases, quite significantly. Like look at old
Operating profit?
The profits, operating and ordinary, both down 45%. Ouch.
I mean, it's what you expect.
Yeah, and then you look at some of these charts of like the hardware sell-through, and it's like the very prototypical sales curve.
Yes.
That you always see.
Of course, yes.
And it's interesting because you think like, oh, well, you know, Nintendo Switch,
the bell curve,
it was
right.
different, or oh, it broke the mold, and then you look at this, it's like, well, it had an extended life, but in the end, it had the curve that almost every other system has had, which is so interesting to see.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You can only extend it for so long.
Right.
You know?
Right. And
everything
then,
has an up and everything has a down.
And then I thought this was interesting as well, the playing users, the active users that they love to tout so much, which is such a great accomplishment for them, was actually down.
For the first time.
Only down by 1 million players, but it did reach its peak previously at 129 million playing users.
That's when you definitely know people are ready to transition.
Yeah,
to
and
the
these
next thing.
and these are the people. It's like, how do we get those 128 million people onto a Switch 2?
Exactly.
How can I get you into a Buick today, sir?
Well, you read an ad during the NBA Finals for millions of dollars. No, just kidding.
And,
yeah.
Mr. Furukawa did do his usual Q&A. And again, we always plug this. The Nintendo Investor Relations site, you can just go there.
And read it.
You don't need a special login. You don't need to be a shareholder.
Right.
You can just go there. They have this stuff in English. You can read it to your heart's
And
content.
there's lots of charts and graphs and
Yes.
fun things if you want to nerd out on that.
Yes.
I like to.
You can learn a lot on there.
it's fun.
But
really fun.
he did his Q&A, and he had some stuff to say about the Switch 2 and kind of how they're balancing the supply and demand. And he said that their forecast for this fiscal year of Switch 2 is 15 million units of hardware and 45 million units of software worldwide in the fiscal year, which some people were saying, like, oh, that seems a little bit low.
Yeah, some analysts had predicted like around 17 to 20, I think, for Switch 2 hardware globally. But then they had dropped the forecast right before they did these financials. So I guess everybody is going back to the more, 15 million is quite significant, but I guess everyone's going back to sort of the history books of see what Switch 1 did, which is around 15 million its first year.
Right, it's basically
kind of
right
matching
around
that.
there.
Right, so maybe that's conservative, or maybe it's realistic, but I guess, in the ideal, like, we are just making so much money, we're so relevant, like everyone loves us, you would think that a bigger, better version of your very successful system would be performing better.
Right.
But that I don't think that's just possible in this environment.
It's interesting to see the times where Nintendo is either conservative or aggressive. So, like, remember the last fiscal year, it's like, oh, you're gonna sell how many original Nintendo Switches? And they obviously, they had to lower that
forecast.
They had to lower that. They did not hit their original number, but they were coming in hot with that.
They really were.
Versus this, which is
a little bit more
a legitimate hot new product, and they're being much more even keeled with it. So they do, they do acknowledge, like, the price is higher than we've had. There are all these hurdles that are out there. So I think it's maybe them just keeping some options open of like, hey, it's been a pretty rocky start to the year and we don't know what could happen next, so maybe we'll go a little bit lower than we could.
I do think that there is another implication in terms of these the Switch 2 hardware forecasts. Where it's a little softer, it's not really around
This
like
clairvoyant Krysta's joining us.
Here's the crystal ball.
Yes.
It's like this idea that if you set a forecast that you basically don't break for your brand new,
You
exciting,
get punished for that.
Yeah, you really get punished for it from like a reputation.
On the street,
Pow!
capital T, capital S, the street.
Oh, the street?
Yeah.
Not the cannoli street, a different street.
Not Cannoli Street.
Yeah, a different street altogether. A very aggressive and punishing streets, the hard streets. Yeah, it does. It makes a difference in the people's and the shareholders' confidence in your product if you like set a forecast that you can't break.
Right.
Versus like year 7 of Switch 1, it's like, yeah, we're going to continue to be aggressive because we want to continue to make sure people are buying this thing, and we're the message we're telling others is that we are continuing to aggressively support the thing, which is why this forecast is where it is. But if we don't meet it, no one's gonna be like, well, why didn't you meet your year 7 Switch 1 forecast? Versus, why didn't you meet your year 1 new hardware forecast? Like, that's embarrassing for you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can take that too far, where it's like you've significantly lowballed this to a point. And
people know about that. Like if he said Switch 2 forecast is like 2 million, then we'd call his bluff.
Right.
But since it's right around what Switch 1 did, I think it's a reasonable forecast.
They know how many they can make and will make in the first year, so they have that information, which we don't have available to us. They understand all of the supply chain stuff.
Yes.
And they have their finger on the pulse of, a tariff or a whatever may come. So I think it's a reasonable number for them to put out there. And again, we've talked about some of these analysts where it's like, who are these people? And if like you look at some of the their supporting thought process,
add
it's like
numbers together.
Yeah, we could probably put a bit more critical thought into some of these analysts as well. There's definitely, I mean, some of them are great, some of them are spot on, and some of them are just back and napkins and stuff.
Adding 3 numbers, I can't do
exactly. I included this last point because what was the video? I think it was the video when the tariffs were first going in, and it was like Nintendo has a choice to make. It's like what are they trying to achieve here? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to extract as much money as possible, or are they trying to have a positive transition to the Switch 2 and get it in people's houses so they can start making money on other stuff? We now have an answer to that question.
We do.
As Mr. Furukawa said, that their goal right now is to sustain the momentum of Switch 2 sales and make sure that the new console is widely adopted.
Exactly.
Very clear answer to that question, and I think that is the correct answer to the question.
That is the correct answer, and that was the answer that we had estimated that they would do.
Yes.
Because this is called long-term success for your business versus looking at the short term and just trying to make a quick buck. And again, in that video, we also talked about how much, money in the bank Nintendo has to be able to withstand. They're so lucky to be able to have the choice to make this decision. A lot of other companies don't have that option. So they did make the right choice here. I think it's good that they're kind of sticking to that. And the tariff stuff is just like an ongoing roller coaster every single day. There's no way you can predict.
Literally daily.
Quite literally. Daily.
It's on, it's off, it's back.
90-day pause. Now the 90 days are up.
There's no point in following it.
We're back in negotiations. So volatile. Yeah. So you can't bank your business on that. You know what I mean? Like you have to make a decision and stick to it. So
Right.
Anyhow.
There is another twist in the drama that is game key cards.
Oh boy.
So there was I think this was a data breach at Arc Systems Work, and some of their stuff got out there. We're not going to talk about that. But there was some information of Nintendo's around the formats for different types of games that they are supporting on the Switch 2. And if this is correct information, maybe take it with a grain of salt because
it's from leaked data.
I don't know. Yeah. Could be outdated. Could be old. Could be incorrect. But if this is what we're going on, there are only 3 types of formats. There is digital game only. There is a 64 gig game card with the full game installed on it, and there is a game key card. Those are the 3 only types of formats that are out there. And this has been an open question of, well, if I'm a publisher and I want to put my game out on physical, do I have options of a range of different sizes? Because obviously more storage is going to be more expensive. If I have a smaller game, how can I accommodate that? Or who knows, maybe eventually we'll have games that go far beyond 64 gigs. That's not uncommon on games on other platforms, and these games are getting bigger and more complex. So people still are very upset over game key cards. Like that's still one of the main things that you see people talking about, but this does give a bit more context and clarity to why maybe that format is being adopted the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be so expensive to get the 64 gig full game card if you are a developer that has a game that's the fraction.
Why are they not offering different sizes?
Maybe it's just hard to manufacture it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have enough experience around like manufacturing processes and supply chain stuff.
We do know that the more you make, the cheaper it gets.
It's true. Well, sure.
And maybe is that not true?
Sure, it's very obvious. But where are you going with this?
Well, I mean, maybe they have some hunch of like, well, we think that the majority of the games on the system are going to fall within this range, and they're most likely to need this. So we're going to, really focus on that and try and make those available in as cost-effective a way we can. Versus what?
Like if Nintendo, what is the base?
What do I look like, the Monopoly Man?
I don't know. I'm just
Mr. Peanut?
Do you have an estimate?
What do you think I look like here?
It's like how much is your cost to manufacture a physical game? What would you say the price is if you're selling Mario Kart on a 64 gig game card? If you're selling Mario Kart for $80, how much is Mario Kart physical?
What is the physical component of it?
Yeah. How much was it? $20? $30?
I don't know. It's got to be over $10. I mean, if you talk about the game, the cartridge, the box, the shipping, all of that.
The packaging.
Right, all of that.
It's got to be upwards of $15 to $20.
Right, which is, again, this is why they want you to buy it digital, because then they can take all that money for themselves versus spending it or giving it to a retailer or anything like that.
But then, that does kind of stink for the smaller game, because if you're like, okay, well, I have to do a physical copy of this, it's already going to cost $15, $20. It's just base manufacture.
Right.
How much can I need to sell this game?
Yeah, so it's fair to ask the question. It's like, well, I wanted a 32 gig or I wanted a 6 or whatever size I needed.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't that available?
Yeah.
So maybe that's information that will come out later. Maybe it won't, but at least we know now that those other sizes are not available to people.
Okay. And then the game card, key card is the other.
Right. I mean, again, that option is always there. Like, hey, publisher, like if you want it to be all on there, here you go. Get this 64 gig card and put it on. I think Rune Factory is a game where they're putting it all on the card. It's just a handful of games like that. Cyberpunk, there's not a lot of things. Almost everything else.
And
is
people have
the game key
to
card.
go out of their way to confirm that, because there's been so many questions about whether or not this is a real full game on a cartridge or a game key card.
It's pretty prominently printed on the box.
Now they print. Okay.
Yeah, they do have to be upfront about that.
But
it is an additional step of homework. And again, like, for the people who aren't, plugged into this, like, are they going to know what that means?
Grandma's not going to know.
Do they even care, though? That's another counter argument that you see.
Grandma might not care, but Timmy might care.
Grandma and Timmy don't care. They just want the game. They're used to downloading things. Timmy's an iPad kid. He grew up on Skibbity Toilet since he was 6 months old. This is old hat for him,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either. I don't care. You care.
I care a lot. I mean, I care a little bit.
Whatever.
I don't care to some of the great extents that we've seen, like the passionate pleas that are out there. But again, if I had a choice, I like to get it physical.
Sure.
That's me.
Yeah.
Do you have a SD card?
No.
Yet?
I don't.
Well, sounds like you're going to need that, Miss All Digital. What are you going to do? Archive and re-download?
Yes.
On your internet that's feeding avocados? You have your avocado, your Wi-Fi grown avocados
I don't need to have
farm?
a bunch of games like always on the system.
You need Fortnite, you need Mario Kart.
I need Mario Kart.
And Welcome Tour, and you're going to be set for like two years.
I just need Mario Kart, really.
You won't admit to it, but you're going to get it. You won't admit to it.
I don't think I need it.
You don't like
storage is not bad.
You don't like to admit defeat. I know that about you.
What kind of defeat? You're supposed to get it for me. I don't know where mine is.
Nope. Moving on to some good news.
This is exciting.
This is so exciting. So last week we talked about the demise of Giant Bomb, but wait, it's not a demise at all. They're back. So they announced at PAX, we were talking about this, like, gosh, these guys were scheduled to go to PAX East, and are they going to go now, or what's going to happen with that? But they were there, and they did their panel, and they announced that the 5 guys who had been kind of in this current iteration, they have purchased Giant Bomb from Fandom, who had it before, and they are up and running.
That's so cool.
They now own all of the IP, all of the kind of historical content that Giant Bomb put out over the years, and they're going to continue doing that. And they have their own sort of business model of subscriptions. So I've been listening to Jeff Grubb's been on a lot of podcasts over the last 24 hours. I've been listening to that, just kind of hear about how this all went down.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they have a lot to figure out. They're going to figure it out on the fly, but this is wonderful for them. I'm so happy
for them, and that's great that they have now like the importance of creative control in the stuff that we have to do with this business is like so invaluable. And for them to kind of get all of that back 100% is like a huge thing. And I'm so happy for them.
Legitimately also, like, I do think Fandom perhaps needs some credit to A, be open to selling this in the first place and not be like spiteful and be like, no, we're just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
And then B, like, I mean, the purchase price had to be, like, these are not like,
they're not like Mark Zuckerberg
it's like
level.
they're not venture capitalists.
Maybe they are, I just don't know.
Is Jeff Grubb secretly a billionaire? Secret billionaire?
Jeff Grubb?
Look at Mike Minotti looking like an evil genius in the back here.
He looks like a billionaire to me.
Mike Minotti's a billionaire. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
We're starting new conspiracy theories today.
That's right. This is why they can buy all those Pokemon cards, because they're billionaires.
Right, but like working with them on a price that was feasible for them. It's like I think we've all like have you ever fantasized like, hey Nintendo, we'd like to buy out Nintendo Minute.
There's no way.
They wouldn't. On one hand, they don't need the money.
Yeah.
It's not about the money to them.
No, they wouldn't do it.
But if it was like, oh yeah, here's the bill. It's $10 million.
Something like that.
You got that?
Yeah.
Like, right.
It's
so
probably more than that, honestly.
It's a lot. It would be some.
We don't have $10 million.
It's like, and we're not going to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Right. So like talk about like a dream scenario of like, oh my gosh, we have the opportunity to continue this thing that we were a part of and we love and really carry over that legacy and keep all of that available as well. It's wonderful for them.
The legacy part is really great for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, that does not happen very often, especially when it's like this big corporation kind of looming over the creative thing.
Right.
And sometimes, it is really tough to make those kinds of things happen. So, yes, it is quite a amazing thing that they're able to just go independent, and they are now the owners. They get to stay together, and they have all the creative control, which is so exciting. Yeah,
it's also amazing. Like, there are now like no original founding members there, but they did evolve it into something that is still like really good. Like they had some rough transition periods as some people were coming and going and feeling out like, oh, this is the right combination of people. But these 5 guys, like, I enjoy listening to this new iteration of the.
It's great.
It's different, but it's still very good. So just a really interesting. And it's just such a positive story in so many different ways.
Yeah. When are we going to do the big Giant Bomb Kit and Krysta collab, though?
Why are you asking me?
Because you're supposed to be in charge of that.
Why don't you ask them?
You're supposed to be asking them.
Okay.
It was on your list of things to do that you haven't done.
See, this is what happens.
Butts in seats.
I said that you don't like to admit defeat, and now you're mad, and now you're trying to get a pound of flesh out of me.
That's not
true. You're taking pot shots.
Am
I back in the streets of Boston?
This is capital T, capital S again. You and Mr. Furukawa.
I was talking about Wall Street, by the way. The street.
Cannoli Street.
It's not streets, it's the street. Wall Street.
Cannoli Street.
Where this stuff happens. They got wham there, okay?
They should
and apparently I'm getting a different kind of wham now from you.
They should eat cannolis on Wall Street just to like, chill out.
I don't think they want them.
Just chill out.
That ain't powdered sugar on that cannoli, let me tell you that. Moving on to the questions from our community. We're moving on. Thank you to everybody who sends in a question. We get those from our Patreon community. Check us out At patreon.com/KitandKrysta, we got Angel Aid first. Hello to my favorite podcasters. Some of us in the Patreon Discord are getting to the FanFest nights at Universal Hollywood this month featuring Yoshi, which got me thinking about the next Mario movie slated for April 2026 and how Yoshi was strongly hinted at the end of the first movie. Looking ahead, when do you think Nintendo will start ramping up marketing for the second Mario movie? Will it be around the same time as the first movie, teasers and trailers starting in the fall? Or might Nintendo push back the marketing to focus on the Switch 2 launch, since it's a sequel? Thanks, and I'll definitely post pictures from the Yoshi event at Universal in the Discord.
Oh boy! The Yoshi costume, the Yoshi character is very cute. I saw some photos of it too. So
I don't think I've seen that.
So they're doing fan
Is it
fest.
less cursed than the Toad costume?
Oh, why is the Toad costume? Well,
And
people.
it keeps falling down.
Well, because people are mean to it.
Well, it had to defend itself.
With
Okay.
his tiny arms.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm Toad, and so
It's gone feral.
It's like, hi! Oh no! It's like his arms.
Got T-Rex arms.
Leave me alone!
Okay, we'll have to look out for that Mario movie.
Mario movie. So this anniversary, 40th anniversary,
Big 40, yes.
is September. What now? 17th.
It's September.
Then.
Yeah.
Then.
I think so.
Then
Yeah.
it does make sense because
Right.
then yes, that is when those original trailers and teasers started. I need Mr. Miyamoto to come out and do more than here's Nintendo today because that was a.
What do you want him to do?
I want him to do this.
Introduce
I
a
want him
trailer.
To introduce the movie,
Oh, okay.
and
All
I
right.
want him to
Well,
be
he
back
will.
with his buddy
Yeah.
Chris.
Steve Ballmer?
Our friend Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
I want him to be back with his buddy.
Great.
And I want him to introduce this new movie, and I want him to be cute, and I want that. Because I cannot have the last time I saw him being that he introduced this stupid app.
Yes. So
That was a disappointment.
the last movie, there were the big push really started. I remember around New York Comic Con.
Yes.
It was like,
he went to New York.
are we going to go to this? Because they
Yeah.
were debuting the first trailer, and there was
Yeah.
like a poster, and there was some other thing. Obviously, they revealed the cast.
Right.
The
That
cast
was
is still
later.
continuing
Yeah.
on, so there would probably be some new characters, but
They're not going to recast anybody, are they? No.
No, they're not. Don't make me dream though.
Who would you like to recast?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the fall makes a lot of sense. And again,
Yeah.
if the anniversary is properly in September,
Yeah.
they had reasons for not doing things on Mario Day.
Right.
I don't
Right.
I don't think they're not going to acknowledge that. So that makes a lot of sense, and then that gives them a bit of runway for a couple months
Right.
to do a couple trailers.
Yeah.
Get the word out. What other little news beats that they might have around new cast members, characters.
New cast.
Yeah, that gives them plenty of time, and this is for April 2020.
Is Yoshi gonna talk, or is Yoshi just gonna go Yoshi? Like, is Link gonna
It's
talk?
like a Groot situation.
Well, I don't know, because Yoshi just says his name. Yoshi's like Pikachu,
Yeah, like Groot.
and Groot says I am.
They got Vin Diesel to do that. You can still do a big celebrity casting even if the character only says one word.
Oh, Vin Diesel's Yoshi.
No.
Yoshi. I would not be mad at that, honestly.
I am Yoshi. That's how Vin Diesel talks, right?
Oh my god.
So that's what I think.
That's so fun.
Baby Chris has the next question. With the recent price hike for games that Nintendo has set with Mario Kart World, do you think this will create an inverse relationship where consumers or gamers will wait until Black Friday or a sale to purchase a game rather than day one? Do you think that there will be an influx of consumers and gamers who will wait until the price of a game is discounted enough to where it's more consumer friendly and hurt the sales number for a good launch? Thanks for all that you do. So this is an interesting consideration.
This is.
Which is how, if the price is higher, what is that company's strategy for discounts?
Yeah, and Nintendo.
Obviously, Nintendo doesn't do them.
I was gonna say Nintendo
So we can just throw them out.
historically not done any
Yeah.
discounts at all. Yeah, so now they've said, and even their little like semblances of discounts seems to have disappeared. So there's no more gold points, which would have given
Yeah.
you a bit of a discount
Yeah.
sometimes. There's no more of those vouchers, right? Or what is going on with
the
vouchers?
vouchers, I believe, are continuing on the original Switch,
But not on Switch 2.
No, there's no vouchers
Okay,
program yet.
so
for
now
that.
there's
Yeah.
no sort of discounts even of that effect.
No.
So it would be either up to the retailers to run some sort of bundle, discount, trade-in. I don't know what you would do. Yeah. So,
but I'm thinking more like the non-Nintendo companies.
Well, the non-Nintendo companies, I think, will have sales like normal. Like Capcom is a great example of a company that makes very high-quality games, but also has a lot of sales that are really great. And a lot of times, there are people for their games that are like, oh, I'm definitely going to get this game. I'm kind of on the fence right now, but in terms of getting it at launch. But I know that later in the year this will go on sale, so I'll just get it then. But they see a good, like their business model is still really good, and they still make like tons of money. So it doesn't really hurt them in any way,
They haven't done a discount on the new Assassin's Creed yet, which perhaps shows that Ubisoft is maybe learning some lessons about all of that. Because again, if the whole narrative around this is we have to do this to survive, the cost of these games is so out of control, not that we can do anything about that, but it's out of control and we must spend it, so we must raise the price, then you can't do these rock bottom sales like a month later.
Because then it's like, well, you just said. You just contradicted yourself.
So that becomes kind of another unintended bad consequence for consumers in the end of like, the prices are high and they're more likely to stay high. Do they have the discipline to do that though? Or do they just like need the dopamine hit of like, oh, we dropped the price and we sold an extra 1,000% over a weekend? I don't know.
Or maybe they have to recoup that cost somehow. And if you are not selling, even at the higher cost, it's not happening for you. You're not getting your return back. You're going to have to do something. Yeah, you might be like driven to desperation.
Or if you have a game that's driven heavily by like microtransactions. Remember EA did their earnings recently, and they were actually getting a pat on the back because they got asked about $80 games, and they said, no, we don't think we're going to do that. And people were applauding them, but there was another side to that story that I didn't see people saying. They were like, we make more money in microtransactions than we do in packaged games.
Right.
So don't applaud them because they're still going to fleece you in microtransactions.
I would say that you probably spent, if you're playing a game with microtransactions, you just played Fortnite recently, and you and I were talking about the V-Bucks and the skins. Like, over the lifetime of you playing a free game or a game that's sub $80 or whatever, like how much money have you spent on microtransactions? It's probably going to exponentially exceed the base game price, and that's how they make money. So either way, I think companies are going to make money somehow off of you.
Eventually the games will get discounted, but it's how long do you have to wait for it to get, because using Capcom as an example, like a lot of their back catalog is highly accessible.
Yes.
Because it's just kind of permanently deep discount.
It's nice.
Which works, but again, like what is the right amount of time to have a game be a premium full price?
They figured it out
before you start doing that.
They figured out their model because that
might be a different story for a different company.
That model for them works really
works for them. They're doing great.
And then they don't have the sort of the bad reputation of Ubisoft where it's like, lol, I'm just gonna wait a month because it's gonna be half off, 30% off.
Yes.
They don't have that issue. But yes. It's just expensive, guys.
Kind of a similar follow-up question from Motomania. So with the recent price increases from Microsoft, what's your prediction on the future of physical games on Switch 2? I get why game keys exist, but I'm not a fan of them, and I'm holding off as long as I can because I don't like having to swap out games on limited memory. But is this an unfortunate perfect storm against physical games? Will they become like 4K Blu-rays, where they become more expensive and boutique and are targeted to the collectors with deeper pockets? We know Krysta is Team Digital and Kit is part of us old guards still enjoying a plug-and-play physical cart. Just curious what you think will happen these next couple years.
Go ahead.
What?
You're the one that is...
You have nothing to say to this?
The old guard.
You have nothing to say?
My thought is that physical games are going away. I know people don't want to hear this.
Gone?
I just feel like they're going to become extraordinarily inaccessible, whether it's by way of
for first-party Nintendo games,
by way of limited quantities, price, yes, all of it.
But you have talked about how the retail is such a great channel for Nintendo and a great niche for them to have, and a great marketing opportunity.
But
so
it's
why
going to
would
be
they,
expensive.
So why would they do that?
It's going to be expensive.
They got money.
Okay.
Why would they do it?
I mean, for us, for consumers
Look at
that
you
want
fold like a deck of cards as I start poking at your statements.
I'm just saying that I think it's going to be a very like limited amount of stuff in terms of physical games. Even for first-party Nintendo games, like only some first-party Nintendo games will get the physical treatment. Like a game
First-party game key cards coming soon?
maybe. But like a game like Emio.
Uh-huh.
Those level of games, Nintendo games, they will not be getting.
But that's also very niche for an
They won't be
audience that you
getting-
know would appreciate and perhaps pay a little bit more.
They didn't have it. Now they didn't even have it this time around.
What was the video where we were talking about? I don't remember, but we were talking about how there's companies out there that are not operating. Like they know their audience.
The video from yesterday?
And they really know the
Yes.
niche. They really know, we did multiple videos. They really know the niche that they are operating in.
Yeah, that was the video from yesterday.
And
Marketing.
it's like, yeah, we know what is the band of prices that we can offer to the consumer who is into this type of game, because it's something like, whether it's like RPGs or like,
It may move to a different model too. Physical games may not be just like here's a game cartridge. It might be like here's a special edition.
Yeah.
Collector's edition.
Yeah.
If you want to get a physical game, you get it in this collector's edition.
I think I saw that Limited Run had something coming on a game key card, and I was like, what? What's going on here?
If they're doing that's the end.
That's their whole bailiwick, which is like, oh, physical forever. Like we're
That's
embracing
the end.
we're embracing
Are you
that
sure?
culture. So I was like, what's going on here? That seems
Well, if that's not the nail in the coffin, I don't know
awfully
what is.
iffy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see it as that different, honestly. I do think Nintendo will continue to do their stuff that way. They may test the waters on a game key card and see
I think so.
what happens. And again, it may be one of these things where there's a lot of outrage, but the thing still sells fine. So maybe they learn nothing.
It's exactly going to be that.
They have to change nothing.
It's exactly going to be that. You think that if there is the next Zelda game,
depends on the game.
The next 3D Mario game comes
Depends
out,
on the game.
and they have to put that on a game key card and sell it digital, you think people won't buy it?
I didn't say that.
Why wouldn't they do it then? It's cheaper for them. Make more money.
Did you invent game key cards? You're really advocating.
I'm
for
not
them here.
advocating for them. I don't need them at all. It's junky plastic that needs to go in the
All
trash.
right. What are some other things that you've invented? Smallpox, poverty, spoiled food. You invented all of these things that we've come to love and embrace in our lives.
What are you talking about?
Look at all the good that you've brought to us.
What are you talking
Let's move on to
about?
our next question from Sort of Sora. I've enjoyed your lighthearted Kiss, Marry, Kill segments in the past. So if I may, here's a question that operates under a similar theme. Do, ditch, or die? Looking back at Nintendo's infamous onstage E3 moments. Let's say your manager volunteered you to be there on stage, demoing the game and or trying to entertain the audience.
Oh, God.
Which of these three scenarios would you do? Which one would you try to ditch? And which one would you die before being a part of? Some potential choices are E3 2008, the Wii Music demo, E3 2010, the Skyward Sword demo, and E3 2005, Electroplankton demo.
I don't remember that one.
But feel free to add your own.
I wasn't there.
That's like I think
that?
I was actually in person at that one. That one was I would say a less cringy version of the Wii Music moment.
Okay.
Significantly less cringy. If this was me, I would do Electroplankton, I would ditch Skyward Sword, and I would die before doing the Wii Music.
I guess, yeah.
Thoughts?
The Wii Music one.
Do you have more positive vibes to bring to this podcast?
The Wii Music one is the worst one.
It really is.
For sure, the worst
Yeah.
one. The Skyward Sword one.
Dancing around, playing a Wii remote saxophone on
Yeah.
stage. Robbie
Drums.
doing his thing.
Oh my gosh, that would be. I would not want to do that. The other one is the Wii Sports Resort Frisbee demo that I can think of.
What was wrong with that?
It's very cringy.
Oh. But there were not a lot of people involved in that, right?
Cammy was
Cammy?
there.
It was just her, right?
Reggie was there.
Okay. I mean, we could do a lot of these. Maybe we'll put some thought, and maybe this will return as a segment.
I don't know what electroplankton.
I
don't know what electroplankton is, but I think I kind of like it.
You should look it up.
Yeah.
You should look that up.
I think I might kind of like it.
All right.
So yeah, that would definitely be the one that I do. But I think, yeah, the Wii music one is the worst out of these three at least.
Next question's for you from Whiskey on the Rocks.
Oh boy.
Krysta mentioned being a fan of Age of Calamity in light of the Agent of Imprisonment's announcement. And I'm curious to hear why. I played the demo and was not a fan, so I'm wondering if my opinion can be swayed.
Oh.
My biggest issue was that the story was an alternate timeline divorced from the canon. I was looking forward to playing a game with the dread of inevitable defeat, pretty much Star Wars Rogue One in my Zelda.
I like the story because I was looking at it as sort of like a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and I think it still works from that perspective.
Alternate timeline, though. That part didn't bother you?
Not really.
All right.
Because the timeline is confusing anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought the story was really good because the character, the way that they sort of gave each of your, favorite Zelda universe characters like actual backstories and emotions and like actual, human qualities was a really different experience than typical Zelda games. You didn't really like this game at all.
I have a question for you, but no, I did not get very far into this game.
Oh, what's the question?
Sorry to interrupt. My question was this point about it being an alternate timeline. How did they communicate that to you? Is it something where like could you finish the game and not know that?
I think so.
And then see online like, well, that didn't matter at all.
Right.
And be really like bummed out about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can understand that point of view.
Yeah.
Wait, it wasn't real? It was all a dream?
A dog's dream.
Yeah.
Like Lost. Yeah.
You just spoil Lost?
It's not the actual ending of Lost.
I didn't watch Lost either.
That's
so
like
I
the
don't
big
know.
joke about it.
Okay.
Anyways, it's really
You had me for a moment.
a deep cut from like 2008.
You had me for a moment.
I'm sorry I spoiled something from 2008. Whatever. I could see that. I don't know. I was more playing for like the character development versus the story overall. Like I really just like I want to see like what Zelda's up to like in her spare time. I want to know about Zelda as a character. I want to know about like Pura as a character. Like I want to know that stuff. I don't feel like I get a good sense of that.
Sure.
In the main
whether
line
it was
games.
real or not, you could extrapolate something about these characters that you liked.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think that is the thing that's actually missing from Zelda's story is deeper character, like just deeper character things. In general, like the world building is so fantastic. Like we all I think we all can agree that like we love, the Kingdom of Hyrule. We like love the general like concepts around these world things. The goddesses and the sages. Like I think we all like that stuff. It's just like these characters seem so shallow and you have no idea what their motivations are at all when they have to deal with these like catastrophic events. And I thought this game, Age of Calamity, really gave us like a deeper view into like, that's why they cared about this. Well, that makes sense. Of course they would have a feeling about this thing about to happen. So anyhow, that's why I liked it.
Okay. Next question is from Ira Bell. Hi, Kit and Krysta. I have 2 questions for you guys on your next podcast. Are you planning on doing a Switch 2 buying guide video or podcast episode before release? And we saw a lot of ports coming for the Switch 2 for the first time from other consoles. Given that you have played some of these, what are your top 5 recommendations to pick up for those who have not played those games before? So these are videos that we're going to do. We're working on these. So we're going to do Switch 2 accessories buyer's guide.
Yes.
I have been talking to a very nice person from 8BitDo for several days now.
Yay!
We're getting a lot of information from
good.
them, and we have some things that are on the way. So we're kind of just waiting for it all to arrive because we want to have it with us so we can show
And then we can test it out too.
it off.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're going to do. And then, this is a very good point, which is those third-party games. Like, we've already played a lot of those. So we do want to do...
I think between the two of us, we played
all
of them.
Almost all of
Yeah.
them. So we do want to do a third-party game guide as well, and just kind of give our thoughts on, like, what are these games?
Yeah.
Like,
who are these games?
do we like them? Fans of the genre will enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you like this, play that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So we're actively working on both of these, and they'll both be out before the system launches. So
Yeah.
hopefully you find them helpful. Last question from Frulia. This is a tease, so don't actually answer the question. Has Nintendo ever made you take part in corporate team building activities to enhance your team synergy?
Oh my gosh.
If so, were these activities effective or just a waste of time? So we will talk about this at some point. We have a big story time lined up around this. I will say there was one that was on a boat in the bay.
There's multiple boats.
A night. There were multiple boats. And then there was another one on a ropes course, swinging around hundreds of feet in the trees. That were both...
And not with the greatest of ease.
Fraught with many
Drama.
challenges and drama that we will be saving for a big story time.
Drama.
Next week, story time will return. We have a big story about Mario Kart 7.
Yes.
Since next week's episode is going to be heavy on Mario Kart.
Yes.
And,
I'm excited to tell that story.
Yeah, we've had other things to focus on that have not been stories, but this one fits kind of what we're talking about with the Switch 2.
Yeah, this is such a fun thing that
really
we did
exciting
for Mario
stuff
Kart
that you did mostly for Mario Kart 7. So I'm excited to hear that from you.
Yes. We can relive that one.
Sorry to make you wait just a little bit longer, Frulia, but the pain from those, you will learn it soon enough. Thank you, everybody who sent in a question. Again, check us out at patreon.com/KitandKrysta, where for just a few dollars a month, you can get so much exclusive content like spoiler casts, bonus Q&As, behind the scenes, get the early access to this podcast. You can do a free trial.
You can.
And get early access to the podcast for a week. Mm-hmm. And just for $5 a month, you can get that early access for a whole month.
That's right.
In addition to a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
So check it out and see all the stuff that we are offering there.
And that is what's keeping this podcast going. So
just like those giant bomb boys.
It's true. Yeah. If you want us to continue doing this, you have to join us on patreon.com/KitandKrysta. We are also on the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And if you're watching this podcast on video, it'd be great if you could please subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Give this podcast a thumbs up and leave us a comment. And if you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, and leave a written review, if you please.
Almost at 94K, guys.
Well, I think by now we're past 94K.
That. That's true.
The march to 100K is happening. We're marching.
Da 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 da. 75 trombones.
Hey, that's not ice cream music. Where's that? We haven't heard the ice cream music at all.
Ice cream is not here today. Is it too cold?
That's good marching music. Is it too cold? I don't know.
Is it too cold? I do have a shirt that says "I need ice cream." I'm gonna wear it next week.
I think the ice cream truck heard some of your takes on physical games and just did a fat U-turn right then and there.
Maybe you can get an ice cream cone and a key card.
Ice cream key card? It's not actually ice cream. It's just like empty.
The cone is empty, and there's like a little dollop of ice cream, and that's terrible. That's way worse than not having a physical game. It's way worse. Shall we shout out some wonderful Patreon community members?
Yes.
Let's start with our final boss, Aaron Hash!
There he is.
Aaron Hash is about to get, the final boss, if you didn't know, gets a monthly surprise box. Aaron Hash is about to receive something from the Nintendo San Francisco store.
Whoa!
It's going to be exciting, Aaron Hash.
Exciting.
Get ready. Superstars, Ben Icorn.
Mario Mayhem.
Iverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Shin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up, _
VGM Life.
Link the Hero of Winds.
Angela Bycroft.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crashuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Jake Kunlas.
40 Gig.
Travis Torline.
Echo Ladare.
That's so Linnell.
MSM Poke Gamer.
Cameron.
R. Burns.
Igami.
And Kit 10K.
Wow. Okay, wonderful. A. Rob Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Allie.
Andy Peachy.
Andy Robinson.
Angel Aid.
Aristu.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Axel.
Bad at Smash. That's me.
Barnstorm.
Bates.
Benji B.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Kavakel.
Brent Dennison.
Brian Decker.
Brovac Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Bucky Flores.
Call Sign Forte.
Cashew.
Chadir.
Shelly Squirrel.
Chris Fisher.
Crispysaurus.
Christopher Lay.
Cosmic Titan 718.
Captain Alex.
C Roper 17.
Dag DeLeo.
Dallas E.
Toxin.
Delving with Differ.
WP.
Doinko.
Dre.
Eccentric Tony.
Elite Peach.
Spars 50.
Furbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Gamers Like Anime.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Jin Wolf.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
Iris Marin.
It's your boy, Jay Hov.
Jay Rando.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jason Ball 34.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clements.
Juju Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
Jay Wolf.
Callan CPU 57.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin Delane.
Kevin Marino.
Kilo Kibo.
Klefki to my heart.
Christopia Party with me.
KS3261.
Kyle Gamer Berry Rookie.
Kyle 325.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle R. Smith.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Leah Rao.
Lex.
Whitewood.
Link 9898.
Lil Mikey.
Linko.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luke Hayabusa.
Luna B.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5891. Or 5981. Oh no.
Magnificent Easy G and Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Mark S.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
May Plus Leon.
Michael Mazer.
Michael O'Hara.
Michael Wong.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pong.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
Mytran.
Nasir.
Naif E.
Nagbia Reeves.
Ninbendo 64.
Ninja 11.
Noah San.
Omega Index Card.
Frankie.
Paper Boat.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
Poke Digifan 20.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Punky.
Raintech.
Reckless Thomas.
Rob M.
Rob O.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Rusty Shackelford.
Ryan Haas.
Ryanetta.
Sage Gamer.
Sebastiano Gares.
Sega.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Shiny Elizabeth.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Schnozzle.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Stephen Johnson.
Stephen Rockoff.
Pseudo Priest.
Symbiote Spidey.
Tales of Link.
Tay 120 and 64.
You forgot Tandem.
Oh no, Tandem.
Teal Fox 64.
The Kagers.
The Quiet One.
The Sir OT.
The Shark Among Men.
The Schmidt one.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Torcheeks.
Totally Joe Ed.
Totomaru.
Trajawi.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tylander 16.
Tyler Geis.
Vidge Victor.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
WG Grizzy.
Wicked Davy.
Zachary S.
Zalgaroff.
Zapati.
Zero Link.
And Zroid. And this, I gotta do the right pronunciation of Sega. Sega. I gotta do it right next time.
That's not.
It's really Sega.
needs to be-
The company.
Sega.
It's the company Sega.
Well, they got money.
They're subscribing.
Should subscribe to the superstar tier.
Bump it up, Sega.
Yeah. Can't be the final boss though. Spot's taken. Can't get a
That's
surprise
right.
box
Only
from
one.
me.
One of one.
Wow, what an episode. What a time that we live in. What a way to send off the original Switch as we make way for Switch 2.
In our hearts.
In our hearts, it'll be
Yes.
a Joy-Con shaped.
A Joy-Con
A
shaped
left
heart.
drifty
I'll be
Joy-Con
seeking
shaped hole.
medical attention after we finish.
It's like Iron Man. Instead of like a thing, you have like Joy-Con in your chest.
Oh no.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up for today. We'll see you later. Bye.